good afternoon, everybody, and welcome all to the very first Taipan Youth Summit. It's good to see a lot of the youth of today. Okay, so my name is Janina Chan from Chinoy TV on ANC. I'm so excited to be your moderator for this afternoon. But first up, can we give each other a big hand for being here? Come on, guys, louder, like how the youth of today would do it. Come on, guys. Okay, I just want to hear you guys hyped up for today. You know, you guys have to be as excited as I am feeling because, you know, let's not take for granted this amazing opportunity that we all have for a wonderful day full of knowledge. So I hope you all came in with an open heart, an open mind. You can bring out your phones to take down notes and also to engage with our social media contest because we do have amazing prizes for everybody as well. How does a trip for Tutu Boracay sound? Yeah? Woo, come on, louder. I know we all want a vacation, right? Okay, so plus points para sa mga nag-cheer, pero yes, that is one of our prizes for today. We are giving away a trip for Tutu Boracay. Okay, so later on we will be announcing more of the mechanics of that. And yes, I see and I know that we have a few people from senior high. Can we hear senior high students please cheer? Wow, how about college students? How about our yuppies? But it's all good. No, don't worry. But yes, we're here. I hope we maintain the energy at the end of the day. I'm sure we're all going to get inspired and motivated by all of our keynote speakers. Again, all of our talks are catered especially to you, our hashtag NextGenpreneurs. May ganun na palang term. Okay, so yes, please do take this chance to listen up and absorb everything as much as you can. And again, this is organized by Chinoy TV and also by the Alliance of Filipino Chinese Students, co-presented by Ateneo Confucius Institute, as well as Huawei Technologies. Okay, so our official hashtag for today as well as hashtag choose your path, and please tag us as well at Chinoy TV in all of your stories or posts online to share the knowledge, right? Okay, so to officially kick things off, we have here our project heads, as young as you guys are. Okay, let's welcome them up on stage to say hi to everybody. Please welcome Josh, Calvin, Q, and Eunice Chu.
Promoting personal development, cultural harmony, social awareness, and nation building are some of the visions of Alliance of Filipino Chinese Students. With these, we gathered a number of youth here to inspire every one of us in making a smart move in the future.
This year, we wanted to focus on empowering the youth. Living the dream is not an easy task, but making small steps, little by little, will surely make a difference.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Josh Tiu, the President of the Alliance of Filipino Chinese Students.
And I am Eunice Chu, Chinoy TV's project head for this event. And this is the Taipan Youth Summit. Good afternoon to you, Josh.
Good afternoon to you too, Eunice. It's really nice to speak in front of many young ones, knowing they will get tons of inspiration in today's event.
That's right, and empowering them is our mission now.
I agree. Let's clap our hands first and embrace the positivity today. Before we officially start the event, I would want to share the reason why we came up with Taipan Youth Summit. You know, Eunice, a common problem within the Chinese-Filipino community is that we are troubled on whether which path to take after we finish our studies. Later, I did realize that it is actually everyone's problem. This fueled me to organize this summit to expose, inform, and inspires second-generation business leaders to different business ventures, possibilities, and opportunities in the modern era through inspiring stories of some of this generation's emerging Taipans. And to achieve this vision, we partnered with Chinoy TV to hit our goal of empowering the youth. So, let me take this opportunity to thank Chinoy TV for supporting our organization and for being a great partner for this event. Let's give Chinoy TV a big round of applause.
Thank you, Josh. So guys, don't forget to catch Chinoy TV at ABS-CBN News Channel every Saturday, 8 p.m. with replays every Sunday, 11 p.m. This is the fruit of our hard work and perseverance. For wanting to inspire the youth, because we know that the future lies in their hands. Well, I personally believe that each and one of us are full of potential as we are fueled with passion and vigor. Of course, on behalf of Chinoy TV and our whole team, we would also want to thank APEX for helping us connect with the youth and all the partnerships we had to deal with in order to make this event possible. I am currently still a student, but am blessed enough to be given the opportunity to have this job in Chinoy TV at such a young age. And for that, I am forever grateful. It has always been one of my passions to inspire, share, and connect with the Chinoy community through events like these. You know, Josh, it was also very fulfilling for me to work with different Chinoy students who came from different universities and backgrounds, as well as professionals in different industries who have the same goals such as us, and that is to create gatherings to empower the Chinese-Filipino community. This summit is a source of inspiration, a mind-opener to various opportunities out there for business leaders like me and Josh.
That's right, Elise. And because of these, we would like to thank all of you here, our dearest participants, for joining us here today. This whole event would not be possible without you.
Thank you guys. We hope that you learn, participate, and be able to widen your connections after this event. But most importantly, don't forget to have fun and just enjoy the day. Thank you once again and have a pleasant afternoon. Again, welcome to the Taipan Youth Summit. But guys, before anything else, we would want to ask a request from you, a group selfie with the two of us.
Okay, I'll count. 1, 2, 3, smile!
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for Eunice and Josh. Wow, I love their vibrant energy. Nakakahawa. Okay, so just a quick overview of what's happening today. I know you've already seen our materials online posted of our really exemplary speakers for today. So we will be having 4 keynote speakers, all experts in their field, and we will also be having panel discussions in between. So yes, it's going to be a really fun-filled day of knowledge for everybody. Okay, and we are also giving away prizes as I promised. We have Huawei phones up for grabs. Come on guys, let's give it up for Huawei, right? I mean, it's a way to win for everybody who came here. Some I know is a class incentive. For the others, I know you're really just here to learn more, but wouldn't it be nice to come up with more prizes? So we're giving away Huawei P30 Pro together with 2 more Huawei mobile phones in just a bit. And as I mentioned, we will be having gadgets as well. You can come up with a brand new Apple iPad. Yeah. And also an overnight stay for 2 in Boracay, courtesy of City Hotel Boracay. Okay, so here are the mechanics of this stay to Boracay. All you have to do is post online. I know we're all here, we can't really take photos, but I'm sure you have photos there that exude happiness. So we want to hear on your caption, what does happiness mean to you? Post them online on Facebook or on Instagram, or maybe both, right, for chances of winning. And again, with that caption, what does happiness mean for you? And also use our hashtags, Taipan Youth Summit 2019, Citic Hotel, that is CITIC Hotel, and hashtag Happy Every Day, and tag us as well at Chiller TV and Citic Hotels. And don't forget to set your profiles on public so that we can see all of your entries. So good luck. That's very exciting, right? Okay, and we would also like to thank our sponsors. Thank you so much, Leon Center, Jack Rolls Corporation, Power Max Center. We also have Citic Hotel Barangay, Vital Purified Drinking Water, Herb's Gym, The Cube Store PH, Taylor Living, Globaltronics as well. Okay, so guys, in between our keynote speakers, we are encouraging everyone to ask questions. We're going to make this as interactive as possible. We have microphones over there, and for those asking away, we will also be giving prizes to you. Yes, you guys are spoiled here. Okay, so first off, let's all begin with our first keynote speaker. He is a graduate of Youth Development Studies from the Ateneo de Manila University and an MBA holder from the Thunderbird School of International Management in Arizona. He has elevated the branding efforts of one of the country's biggest commercial banks while improving systems and processes with the use of proprietary technology at its chief transformation officer. So let's all welcome the Senior Vice President and Head of Branch Banking at Asia United Bank. Let's all give it up for Mr. Jacob Nam.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. That's a very good intro. That's half my speech already. But anyway, as you heard, I'm Jacob Nam. I'm the head of branch banking in AUB. I'm the son of Jacinto Nam Sr., founder of AUB and founder of Megisco and a host of other companies. So, here's a brief outline of my talk today. I'm just going to talk about my story, how I got here, the choices I've made, and where I am today. I'll talk about AUB. I'll also talk about banking as a profession very quickly. And finally, talk about why I chose this path, particularly why this path of working for the family business versus going on my own or working outside. And finally, I'll end with some insights I picked up along the way. So, I graduated from Xavier back in 1993. After that, came here to Ateneo and anyway, I graduated Xavier back in 1993, and I came here to Ateneo, studied, and I graduated here in 1997. So as you can see, there's been a heavy Jesuit influence on my life. What I remember most of all was the value of being meant for others. So that I had to, it wasn't all about me. I had to do my best to also help other people and uplift their lives. And I also remember the value of Magis trying to strive for more, strive to be a better person. And especially here in Ateneo, I remember I picked up especially from all the PO and especially the philo classes, I remember that. I picked up the attribute of being more contemplative. Always question everything. Don't just accept stuff at face value. Put some thought into it and come to your own conclusion. So after graduating from this fine institution in 1997, I worked for a while in our family business. Actually back then, the bank was just starting, but my father didn't want me to go into the bank because it was new and he didn't want some inexperienced inexperienced kid running around and messing things up. It's harder than it was. So back then, he gave me a choice. He asked me, where do they want to go? I could either go into the disco or our real estate company. Back then it was Extraordinary Development Company. He said, "Oi, so where do you want to go?" I said, "I wanted to go first into the disco." He said, "Why? Why the disco?" I remember I grew up there. I grew up in the factory for a while, and it's the more established company, the better known brand. It's FMCG. It's more exciting. It's more fun. There's a lot more happening. Then he nods his head and he said, "But your brother needs more help in the real estate company, so you go there." So, okay, so that was that. But anyway, so I was there for a few years, helped with my brother. I helped him establish a new company for Untitled Development Corporation. And after that, in about 2003, I think, it was time for me to take up naman my MBA because that was the agreement. So I remember we went one December, my sister and I, we went to the States, looked around a couple of schools. So you guys might ask me, why did I study in in Wharton or one of those big East Coast universities? Because I remember it was December. My sister and I, we were in Chicago. We were walking around Chicago, December at nighttime in Chicago, walking around looking for a taxi. For about 20 minutes there was no taxi. After that, when we finally got onto the hotel room, I drew a hot bath, soaked in the hot tub for like 10 minutes. And I said, I'm no way am I studying out here in the cold. So my sister and I, we ended up in Arizona, warm weather, and let me talk a little bit about Thunderbird. Thunderbird, the great thing about this school is that it's very international. Half of us were foreigners. Half of the student population are foreigners. The other half, the Americans, are also much more worldly than the normal Americans. Because everyone had to know a second language, had to have some experience. So we didn't get too many of those redneck experiences, even though we were not. So after that, so I graduated after 2 years. Technically, my course was only a year and a half, but I enjoyed it there, so I extended it. After 2 years, I started applying for a job. The agreement with my dad also was that I could work in the States if I could. So I was applying around. I applied in Citibank for a management training position, but they ended up sending me back here to the Philippines. So anyway, so there goes that thing working abroad. So here I am in Sydney. What I really liked about working in Citibank was that for the first time in a long time, and actually that is the only time for those few years. That is the only time I was a real employee. I had real office mates because my friends would feed me. Right now you don't have office mates. These people are employees. So back then it was refreshing that I was one of the guys. I would like to think that those people were my real friends. So, and I also got to see, I got to start from the bottom, got to see how it is in the ranks, so to speak. And I also like the fact that Citibank, even though I was here, it's a multinational corporation. Everything was very, it was fixed. All the processes were running, it was smooth. If I needed something, I just had to make a request, and with the computer, it was there. Not too much of this ad hoc stuff. You didn't have to figure out too many things. It was all laid out efficiently. So there, after Citibank, and then, of course, the next logical step would be AUB. So we're in the AUB. So talk about AUB. So today we have total assets about 266 billion. That doesn't total up. So don't try to. There's some items I didn't include. So we now have, as of September 2019, we have totally treasury books of about 72 billion. These are our bonds, various bonds, both local and foreign. 134 billion in commercial loans, 22 billion in consumer loans, and it was a big leap from last year, so we're very proud of that. So we have a total CASA is a current account, savings account, of about 114 billion, total SSA and time deposits of 108 billion, and we have a total equity of 34 billion. So it's a lot, so it's also again a big improvement from 2018. So now we have 228 branches, 260 including our rural bank subsidiaries. We have about 2,100 something employees. Very proud to say our ROE is at 15.7%. I think that's the highest in the industry. Our return on assets is also pretty high at 2%. And I think we also have one of the lowest cost-to-income ratios of 44%. It doesn't say there that last year we made about 3.3 billion, and hopefully this year we're looking at about 4 billion. So, and for those people who are invest in stocks, our EPS is 10.1. So here I just quickly listed out the things I did before, so I wasn't just lazing around in AUB. So just quickly about the history now. So AUB was founded back in 1997 by my father and some partners of his, and our first and by our current chairman, Mr. Abraham Cole. Back then he was still the president of the bank. We started in '97 with one branch. We didn't buy any other bank, and we had an initial capital of 2.2 billion. I think about 2.2 billion. So today it's about 33 billion. So that's all a product of hard work and perseverance over time. So those are the things I've done over the years. I'm especially proud of the time I was in consumer loan in CTS, where I was able to pioneer a new product for the bank. So anyway, here, banking as a profession. Very quickly, I don't know how much you guys have been exposed to banking. So it's basically financial intermediation. It's basically taking deposits from the public, and then turning around and lending it out or investing it. So typically you have net interest margins of 3%. So that's pretty low. You hear about other industries have profitability of about 10% or so. But the thing about banking is we get the leverage up to 8 times. We do that by getting deposits over and above our own capital. And the sources of income for a bank are lending to both consumer and corporate clients, trading, so we can trading of bonds or FX, and then of course the interest rate that we generate from the bonds that we invested in, and finally from fees, so telegraphic transfer fees, FX, and remittance. So what's so great about banking? It's not what I especially like about it is that you get an exposure to a wide array of industries. So we lend to real estate companies, we lend to real estate companies, to hotels, to trading companies, to these big, all the way to these big PPP projects. So you get you learn a lot. You get to see which industries are doing well, which industries aren't doing as well, and then you also get to learn new things. So maybe in the future, if you were thinking of getting into maybe the power business or even the restaurant business, you always have a ready source of knowledge. So it's also the best way to develop your network. You get to meet a lot of people. So now I would like to think I have a contact in any industry here in the Philippines, And if I don't, it's very easy to just go out and ask someone to refer me to someone there. So I have a very wide network, so and as you guys know, here in the Philippines, that's gold, having a good network. So, but the thing about banking, it's all about risk reward. You have to be sure that the risk you are taking, you're being amply rewarded for the risk that you're taking. It's not about, you always hear about 20% interest by this fund somewhere, wherever, this whatever fund. But what's the risk? The risk is all the money will disappear overnight. So it's not worth it. So you have to make sure that you're being compensated properly for the risk you are taking. And then finally, here's the thing about banking. It's all about knowing your customer, actually, for me. It's more than just giving loans. Of course, you have to know how solid your client is when you give him the loans. But more than that, it's also being able to properly service the client. You have to know them. Our president always says, these clients will not talk to you if you do not get to know them. If you just go to the client and say, sir, can you just open a current account? Give me your money. Well, why would a client do that? Why would someone do that? Just because I ask nicely? It doesn't happen like that anymore. I have to be able to offer value to my customer. So we have a lot of cash management products. We have a BDC warehousing system. We have collection systems. So I have to know which of my products is the best suited to my client. So in that way, he would want to deal with me. And finally, it's also about saying sorry. It's banking, so stuff happens. Especially now that BSP is very strict on cash management. There are a lot of times that we cannot accept large amounts of cash without an explanation. We cannot accept foreign transfers from abroad without a lot of questions. So this really pisses off a lot of people. So for me, it's as simple as being able to tell the client, sir, managing them. Sir, ma'am, I'm sorry, it's taking a while because we have to go through all these processes. This is something that is mandated by BSP. It's not our fault. I found out that the clients who are most irate are those you just totally ignore. I've seen it happen too many times that the teller will just tell the client, ma'am, hintay lang kayo dun. And then the whole day the client is just doing. And then I hear about it after that the client is so pissed off, they want to pull out, blah, blah, blah. Or sana, the teller or the service manager could have just periodically went to the client and explained, ma'am, sir, this is what's happening, this is the update. I'm sorry it's taking so long. But it's as simple as that. It's really all about knowing your customer. So, why I chose this path. I know you guys have a lot of options now. A lot of options now, and I'm sure you'll also hear later on how great it is to be an entrepreneur, or how fun it is to work abroad, or work with your friends, or work under a multinational company, an established multinational company. I've said it a while ago. It is a lot of fun also. But here, there are certain reasons why I did choose this path. The first one is the pragmatic view. It's the best way to earn money. Here I have this is a steady job, pretty much guaranteed for life as long as I don't mess up. So it's the best way for me to support my family. And then next is, but even more than that, I think the most valuable, the most important reason is it's to protect my family's legacy. Like I said a while ago, from 2 billion we built it up to this 260 billion company. That was a lot of work over 22 years. I've seen the effort my father and my parents have put in and continue to put in. So I don't want it to just be wasted away. I don't want it to be sold off just like that. We have a story. We had one day, one of our, my dad said, how can we expand the bank? And then one of our investment bankers said, you know, if you want, you can merge with another bank, with a bigger bank. And then you guys can become like, you can become the smaller bank. Parang equitable PCI, you can become the PCI. And you should see my father's face. My father was just like, just clammed up. Nahiya na yung investment banker na didn't say anything anymore. Kasi he just pissed my dad off. So I know that this is his baby. He doesn't want to get rid of it, so I respect it. Because this also, I remember this business and our other businesses were the ones also putting me through school, putting clothes behind my back. So I myself, I don't want to turn my back on this. And also in banking, I've seen so many rural banks. They're rural banks, but they were doing good where they were. But they had to sell off. Well, yes, because the regulations are getting tougher, but one of the biggest reasons was that the next generation didn't want to do rural banking anymore. For them it was boring. I don't want to lend to farmers. I want to, have my own cafe. But it was such a waste. It was a good business, but they had to sell it off, and now it's gone. And then finally, there's a large margin of error. So when I graduated, I was 20, 21. You guys, when you graduate, we're young, you guys are young, and you guys start working. Now it's easy to make a mistake. What's the worst thing that can happen if you fail an exam? Well, you take it again. If you fail a class, you might graduate later, but you can take it again and you can make up for it. But in business, if you fail, pera na yan. Like in our case, if the bank failed, that's about 100 billion of other people's money that's failed, that we will have to give away. So it's hard to make a mistake. So now, if you are in your own family business, an established family business, you can still refine your management style. You can still continue to learn. Because it's established already, it's running, there's like momentum already. So okay ka pa, you can take your time to learn. You're not under the pressure to get everything right on day one. So then you get to still continue to study up and refine your own management style. Till the time comes when you do have to take over, then you're ready already. Now it's time to then make it my own. So you guys will say that, oh, I don't want to work for my dad forever. But then, no, my dad's 77. He says he's semi-retired. And then soon he's also on his way. No, one day he will retire. So then that's the time that this company will become my company. So when people say, when entrepreneurs say, I have my own company. Here, this is my chance. This is my turn. So it's, for me, I have to take the business naman to the next level. Now that when it becomes mine, I will put my own imprint on it. So I will take it to the next level. We have dreams of growing the bank to become among the top 10 banks here in the Philippines. So we want to be, a bigger and better bank. So I would want to also continue to modernize and professionalize the bank. So as I said, I want to take what I learned in Citibank and continue to apply it here. Yes, we're a bank. We're more professional than a regular savvy store or mom and pop. But I see that there's still some processes that need to be put in place. And I also want to change our branch manager's mindset. Remember the stories of my dad back in the 80s. Branch managers would just sit in their cubicles. And then everyone would come, and people would come to them to get loans. Now it's different. Now our branch managers have to go out and solicit accounts, solicit clients. But I also want them to be, I want them to be more. Today, when we go to a client, we say, yes sir, please open an account. Sir, you need a loan, we have loans also. But like I said a while ago, I want our clients to be more introspective, our branch managers to be more introspective. What does the client want? What does the client need? It's useless if you just give him a checking account, you give him all our products, when it turns out all he really wants is maybe for now a time deposit. So I want to change that mindset. You have to first know your customer, know what he wants, then you can offer a better product. And yeah, that also includes maximizing our cross-selling opportunities. And finally, we're also in the process of rolling out some new products. So we have AUD PayMate. So as I'm sure I don't know if you've heard, we were the first bank to accept WeChat and Alipay payments. And then we continue. We also have Hello Money, which is our foray into the e-wallet space. So here you can send and receive money through this Hello Money app. So here we have some insights and learnings. So for me, the most important thing is, your reputation is your most important asset. It's true in banking, it's true in life. Would you want to put your money in the first regional bank of Pasilan? Well, you don't, right? Who you want to know, if you're going to invest your money, or who am I putting my money in? So it's also the same in life. Why would I want to go into business with you? Who are you? That's why you have to watch your reputation very, very carefully. I've seen it also countless times. People will ruin their reputation, will cheat their partner just to earn they'll get you screw over your partner, you get that 10 million. So was that 10 million worth the rest of your life? From here on out, everyone knows, no one wants to deal with you. So we've also had so many clients, he's worth so much money, he appears on this magazine cover or that magazine cover. Everyone knows him. He has dated who and who and who. But I don't want to lend him money. I know his reputation. It's just the same. Please guys, don't forget. Please watch out for your reputation. And it starts now. You carry over. You develop it now. You carry it over to when you guys are working. And it also carries over to your children. I have also friends. These are my friends. I tell my dad, that's this guy. He's my friend. I can count on him. I know his father. So it's very hard. I have to go through the process of explaining to him, he's not this. He's different from his dad, but still, it's a struggle. So please watch out for your reputation. And don't forget your roots. I didn't tell you my story just to fill up the time. I wanted you guys to see that the influence that my parents had on me. So, I know, again, like I said a while ago, I know where we came from, I know what we did. So, I have to respect that. And it helps to ground me. Sure, I'll admit, but when I was born, the businesses were already established. My nephew's here. And when he was born, he's already living in a nice subdivision. But then I know the stories of my dad. My dad's stories that when he was born, he never met his father. My uncle passed away before he was born. My mom would be washing clothes with him tied behind the back. He'd tell me stories like on the weekends to earn extra money, he would lug a sack of slippers and ride the train up to Baguio to sell, then come back down on Sunday night, be able to go to school. So I know all that. So even though I didn't live it, I know the story. I know our roots. So I make sure that grounds me. And being grounded also helps with people management. To be fair, I don't claim to be a genius, but I would like to think that what helps me to be successful today are the people around me. So I make sure that there are a lot of all our managers in the bank are way more experienced than I am, are way smarter than I am. So it's all about knowing how to use them and knowing how to keep them happy. It's people management. And then don't let your work consume you. Always know what you're really working for. Don't be the guy who works till 9 p.m. and comes home when his kids are asleep. It's really all about work-life balance. Don't burn yourselves out. I know you guys are saying, I'm still young, I can do it. Okay, granted, that's true, but please, in the future, keep that in mind. And then finally, I think this is the most important thing for me. It's time for you to make your own decisions and then live with the results. You guys will say from my story, everything you've said naman is from your dad. That's what your dad said. But I took his advice, and I saw that it was the best advice for me, and I did it, and I implemented it. I could have quote unquote disobeyed my dad. I could have worked outside. If I wasn't doing this, honestly, I would also want to be working for, for a sports management company. Everyone has options, especially now. You can take your degree today, and you can work abroad. But then, if you guys have to be careful with the decisions you make. You have to be aware of the consequences. So now you're still here in school, you have inputs from your teachers, you have inputs from your family and friends. Take it all into account, but make the final decision for yourself. And when you make the decision, always think forward also. If I do this today, what will happen in the future? And am I ready to live with those consequences? So the best example I can give here is my sister. She married a foreigner, which is the scariest thing for any Chinese dad. His youngest daughter marries a foreigner. I go to my sister, are you sure about this? Are you sure? Papa will be pissed. You won't get anything anymore. You'll be living in a foreign country. Before it was okay, she used to live in London, but now she lives in Germany, where she barely speaks the language. So, are you ready for all of these things? And so much more. It's tough to go out of her comfort zone. I asked her, are you sure about this? These are the consequences. Then she said, yes, I'm ready to make this decision. I thought about it, I made my decision. So that's why I turned around, told my parents, that's it. She's a grown woman, she made her own decision. She thought about it. What more can you ask? So please, that's why it's very important. When you make a decision, stick to it. But before you make a decision, think about the results, how it will affect your life and the lives of the people around you. That's it. So that's it. I'm signed out. So thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jacob. Now, please take a seat. And guys, now we are officially requesting questions from you. If you have any thoughts, clarifications. I'm sure for those who are considering delving more into the family business, this has been very insightful. So thank you so much once again. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Okay, first of many speakers. Okay, questions? Go ahead and step forward to the microphones on both sides of the auditorium. Again, we've got prizes for you guys. Not that should be an incentive. We want to make this as interactive as possible. So, okay, as you collect your questions, or we have one already? Yes? Okay, yes, hi, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Alan from Los Angeles. So my question is for Mr. Nam. So I also come from a banking family, and I want to ask, how did AB? What's the process behind the succession of the positions in the bank?
How do we manage succession?
Yeah, succession.
Well, we have to make sure that the people number one is we try to ensure that there is someone behind every group. Every group head, that they have a good deputy with them. So, and of course, we make sure now while they're still deputies, diba, we see them work, we see how they manage people. So we make sure we can see that whether they are qualified or not to take over the position. And to be honest, if you're talking about me myself, how I am, if I am qualified or not, that's why right now I'm still, my father is still there. Our first president is now the chairman. He's still around. So they're making sure that that when the day comes, I will be ready to take over.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we've got another one. Hi, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Hans Tan from Makati Hope Christian School. My question for Mr. Nam is, how do you, since you would want to modernize the business to take it to the next level, am I correct? But then at the same time, you would want to stick to your roots. So how do you know when is the limit of modernizing your business to ensure that you still stick to your roots?
Stick to your roots.
Modernizing, like, is there a limit to modernizing? Like, how do you know you're on that just right range?
I think so I guess if you're asking whether I should maybe change the business, or go away from the roots, I would say no. You have to know, like I said a while ago, you have to know your roots, know who you are, that's who you're working for. Modernization is just a way to help you achieve your goals, but your goals, were born from, in a sense, we're born from your roots. So modernization is the best way to get there. The best way to get there, but you still have to know who and where you came from. Like in our case, our roots actually is in risk management. Like that we have to make sure that we do not take on too much risk, and that we get properly compensated for it. So I think in the future, no matter how big we are, we'll still stick to that tenet.
Okay, thank you po.
Thank you very much. So I guess sticking to the core values as you modernize and keep up with the times. Okay, hello. Okay, I love it. We got a good flow of questions. Let's keep it up.
Good afternoon. My name is Frederick Osito. We have a family business as well, and right now I'm at the crossroads because there are a lot of options given to me by my parents. Because we have a family business, I could choose to help them already learn the business, or I could pursue further education, like maybe take a master's, or there's also the option of getting a job. So as I understood from your story, before you took your master's, you also helped with the family business first. Is that right?
That's right.
So would you recommend the same path for me,
Yes.
or should I? Because my mom on the other hand is saying that I should pursue my studies right now, just after I graduated, so it's early.
No, I strongly believe, actually, that's a good question. I strongly believe that you have to work first before going abroad. Because when I was taking my master's, I did have a couple of classmates who jumped in straight from college, and you can hear naman in the discourse talking to the professor. In the end, the professor didn't want to talk to those guys. They didn't know anything. All they knew were the theories from the books. So when the rest of the quote unquote experienced people started talking about what actually happens in the workplace, that these people couldn't join anymore. So it's a much more, you will bring so much more with you when you take your masters if you work outside first.
All right, thank you. It's
Thank
been
you
very
so
nice.
much. It is true. Experience is the best teacher. So as much as you can, as early as you can, get as much experience. Okay, hi. Wow, I love the long line. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Nam. I wanted to ask, were there times that you had conflict with your fellow family co-workers? For example, micromanaging, clashing of methods, etc. How did you resolve these conflicts?
Okay, in fairness to us, the conflicts were managed mainly because right now because we're in different industries, my brothers and I. But I remember before, yes, when we were in real estate, I would get into a lot of conflicts with my brother. Back then, it was settled by seniority. You know, he's my ina. I just graduated. But I think now, well, especially now that and now conflicts still do arise, but you know, we're all adults now. So I think we're all at a point in our lives where we can sit down and discuss with each other the pros and cons of our side. And yun, we can come to a more amiable solution. Hindi pa naman kami umaabot to the point na you know we're fighting over it and you know na salian na ng lahi. So I think you know it's talking about it as you know not just as brothers, not just as Anya and Shorty, but as equals already.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's a good point, as equals, no? Wala ng seniority. Everyone has to be heard, and you know, you also have to make sure you listen. And hindi lang yung parang...
We're not kids anymore.
Yes, exactly. Okay, hello.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nam. So, before I ask my question, I think you're one of the few people that might be knowledgeable in answering this because you have a family business that's in FMCG and then you have another one at banking. So, my question would be, if you're familiar with Forever 21, you know there's you might know their story. Immigrants started a family business, grew very fast, very big, and then suddenly they kind of stagnated because they kind of wanted to do everything and they couldn't keep up with everything. So what happened was that they grew so fast, and until 2015 they hit their peak, and then because of the management style they have, where if they're gonna be like approving fashion design, if they're gonna be approving like store locations, they're gonna like it's always the family that's gonna be involved, and it kind of hurt them in the growing process too. So since your family has been like managing like groups of companies now, my question would be, when do you think would be the right time to like, as you know, as Asian family business owners, you do everything until you can't do it anymore. When would be the right time to like, for example, handle everything by yourself? And when would be the right time to at least start bringing in like outside talent to help you manage everything that's growing?
That's a tough one. No? I can't give you a landmark, no, a marker. I can't say like, if the business hits 300 million, that's it, we have to hire someone. You know, it's different strokes for different businesses, no. But I would like to think that in general, it's always good to get outside help as soon as you can. Here's a marker. You have to get it when the business can already afford it. Like if you've grown to a size where you can afford a professional manager to come in, or like you guys can probably start with a marketing manager or a sales manager. So you or your dad doesn't have to go around and do the selling himself. When you can afford that already, bring them in as soon as possible. Because that also frees you up to think about other stuff, to focus on the really important things. Because for me, the end of the day, the business owner should be in charge of managing. And then you should have people under you doing the accounting, sales, marketing, R&D. But you are the manager, you see everything.
Yes. Okay, satisfied? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and last question for now. Okay.
Hi sir, good afternoon. Question lang. So I'm from Ateneo, so I'm a graduation student, and I'm a humanities major. So my question for you is, how does your philo and PEO lessons like shape you from before up to now? How does it influence you think and operate on a day-to-day basis?
Sorry, how does it
I would say shape or influence you.
Oh,
Shape or
yeah.
influence.
I would like to think, even though I don't remember anymore the names of my teachers, no, and I don't remember the specific lessons, I like to think, it has had an impact on me. I always question things that things that are said to me. I don't just accept it as face value. To be honest, right now, I get into a lot of arguments with my dad when he tells me, this client is not good, or this client is good, and I disagree with him. No, I do not just blankly say, oh yeah, yes, yes. But so my tilo and my tio has taught me to, think first, make sure that am I making the right decision, and I don't just, jump in head first.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all of your questions. A big hand for you guys. Thank you once again. For those who aren't too familiar with the business and banking, this definitely expanded our knowledge as well. So yes, it's down to your reputation, all about relationships as well as responsibility. So we definitely learned a whole lot. So yes, right now we are off to giving you our token of appreciation actually. So we'll do a quick photo op of that in front together with our Chinoy TV CEO. We have Mr. Alvin Kingston Tan and our project heads, Josh and Eunice, if both of them are around. Okay. Alright, and we have special gifts for you as well. So we've got your loot bag containing gift basket from Food Source, gift block from Framework Group, and a gift bag from Mega Sardines, and floral arrangements from Fig and Vine Floral Studio. It's a shopping spree. From retail to grocery and to floral arrangement. It looks really nice. Thank you so much. Okay. Alright, a big hand once again. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacob Now moving forward, we got our next keynote speaker. He has a degree in mechanical engineering and industrial management engineering from the De La Salle University and an MBA holder from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Now, before he ventured into the automotive industry, he was a part of several multinational and local universal banks as well. Currently, the president of Federation of Philippine Industries. You might have seen him as a talk show host for Usamang Bayan and his business columns as well for Business Mirror and Manila Bulletin. So let's all give it up for the president and CEO of Bayan Automotive Industries Corporation, Mr. George Chua.
Thank you very much. Distinguished speakers, honorable guests, members of the Alliance of Filipino-Chinese Students, Chinoy TV viewers, ladies and gentlemen, my friends. I was just listening to the earlier speech of Jacob, and I could notice that we had many similarities in that I also started my banking career at Citibank. And right after I graduated from my MBA from the Wharton School, I got into the executive training program, except that I did request for what they called then as a home country assignment. And I was sent back here to be able to join the executive program. And at that time, I held the global record for making it from a trainee to assistant vice president in 2 years and 9 months. So it's interesting for me. So it was a pleasant surprise to receive an invitation from Mr. Josh Calvin Chu, your president of the Alliance of Filipino-Chinese Students, to be one of the speakers in this Taipan Youth Summit. Of course, I immediately accepted, knowing that this would be a golden opportunity for me to share with you my own journey on how I did it my way, in the hopes that perhaps it will help you in finding your own path. I wanted to tell you a little perspective from where we all came from, and allow me to explain my thoughts on the origins of our Chinese heritage here in the Philippines. Archaeological records show that the Chinese had been in the Philippines as early as the Song Dynasty, which lasted from 960 to 1279. The primary purpose was really just to trade. In the course of the centuries, this trading relationship expanded, and much like our modern expatriates, some of them decided to spend more time here and even establish permanent residence here. The Chinese had no military or political agenda or interest in the Philippines at that time. Unlike the Chinese, when the Spanish came, their primary agenda was to serve the will of God by converting Filipinos to Catholics. This religious purpose was the primary excuse for Spain to colonize the Philippines and take full advantage of her resources and subjugate the Filipinos for the better part of 3 centuries. The decline of Spain and their defeat by the Americans in the Philippines provided the opportunity for the Americans to spread their political doctrine of democracy in the Philippines. The Americans wanted to save the Filipinos from themselves and enforce their political system on us. Of course, this was also an excellent excuse to gain control of the Philippines with her resources and strategic location in Asia. Thus started the Americanization of Filipinos who were considered by the Americans as their little brown brothers. While the Spaniards and the Americans gained the upper hand in the political and economic hierarchy in the Philippines, the Chinese continued to be excluded from society and were certainly not favored by the Spaniards, Americans, and Filipinos. This left our Chinese ancestors with no choice but to look after themselves in any way they can to make a living. Chinoys were unaccepted since they were not viewed as conquering masters like the Spaniards and the Americans. Chinoys were different from Filipinos, Spaniards, and Americans in terms of looks, language, and culture. Because they were ostracized, the Chinese had difficulty integrating into Philippine society. They were looked down upon because most of them were poor and uneducated. There were no openings for them in government and large private companies because they did not have the right education, communication skills, and pedigree. This left many of our ancestors to do menial tasks, hard labor jobs, and micro-entrepreneurship. Since the Chinoys at that time could not get jobs, most of them had to resort to being self-employed and had to endure unimaginable sacrifice. However, our story has a happy ending. Many of us are now reaping the benefits of these fortuitous events that led our ancestors to the path of entrepreneurship. While it was not an easy journey and took many decades, many have been rewarded with fame and fortune. Okay, It is serendipity that because many of our forebears were left with no choice but to start their own businesses, we now find ourselves at an advantage. It is estimated that there are currently 1.35 million Filipinos of Chinese ancestry, or roughly 1.3% of the Philippine population. However, looking at the current Forbes list of the Philippines' 50 richest, 30 people, or 60%, are of definite Chinese ancestry, while the remaining 20 individuals, or 40%, belong to all other ancestry. With such an impressive track record, why don't all the children and grandchildren of these affluent Chinoys flock to the family business? Alas, old habits are hard to break. Our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents who founded and ran these successful businesses were used to harsh conditions, self-sacrifice, and keeping costs down. Thus, many of us were turned off with the prospect of joining the family business. There was no glamour, no proper compensation and benefits, moving up only when someone passes away. No professionalism, hard labor, long hours, mismatch of talent and interest in the business, no authority, and dealing with unqualified and difficult relatives. Fortunately, with each succeeding generation, changes have been made for the better. Many of us get the best education. Our businesses now have a professional working environment and facilities. We have competitive compensation and benefits. I think my daughter's here somewhere. Oh, there she is. And I think she can attest to that, right? You're getting paid well? More executives and competence were given commensurate authority with responsibility. Succession is now managed rather than a funeral event. No? Meritocracy-based and company ownership is earned rather than inherited. In some companies, my daughter owns more shares than I do. Next one. It is important to understand that as an employee, even if you are the president or chairman of the company, which I personally have been a professional as president or chairman of the company, on my own merit, no, because we didn't own that company, you are nothing more than a yaya. When your time comes to retire, you bid farewell to your company, and that is the end of it. On the other hand, as an owner, the company is like your child, with you as the parent. Of course, as your child grows, they can have their own life, but you will always be the parent. In my case, I was fortunate enough to have an open-minded father who supported me, gave me options, and allowed me to choose my own path. This enabled me to pursue the right education, go into the corporate world, live the country club life, make my own money, marry who I wanted, and still be an entrepreneur. The way it worked out for me was that I was able to work on my professional career through my middle age. And then as I got older, I only involved myself in businesses that I had equity in. Having the right education is an indispensable foundation for basic knowledge and establishing learning skills. It also develops your communication ability, both oral and written, and allows you to establish a network outside of your parents' circle of friends and relatives. In my case, I have 2 engineering degrees from the other school along Taft Avenue, and an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. I'm also currently working on my dissertation for my doctorate degree in business administration. Over the years, with different companies, I have attended innumerable training programs and seminars that have undoubtedly added to my database of knowledge and capability. Being exposed as a senior executive in a number of large corporations, I learned many things, such as the right protocol, business etiquette, and effectiveness of meritocracy. And since I did not have to start the company from scratch, the businesses that I have joined were already vibrant and reached a certain degree of size and stability that it accelerated my experience. Corporate exposure was also beneficial in that it allowed me to expand my network of friends, establish business alliances, and broaden my positive reputation in the business community. The nice thing about the whole experience was that I did not have to use my own money and take the risk of making mistakes. Did not compromise my personal capital. Although, as I said, as I got older, I gave up all of my professional engagements and focused on companies that I had equity ownership or I just owned. I learned much about trying to what I call the country club life. This means that people who work hard deserve to play hard. Of course, this did not only mean hard physical labor, but the more excruciating mental work that is needed to make serious money and the correct decisions. Having an interest outside of work is good in that it provides a balance in your life. The country club is one of the common symbols of this balance in that it gives you a place to unwind and relax. Enjoy sports such as golf, spend time with your family, friends, and business associates. Not only is being a member of a country club a status symbol, but it also does have other practical applications, such as entertaining your clients to deepen the relationship and meeting new people that may open more opportunities for you and your company. Engaging in a sport enables you to improve your motor skills and helps you stay healthy as well. So I've always felt that being a member of the country club has helped me in many ways in terms of my career, friendship, networking, and things like that, which was not the idea of my dad. So I bought my own country club share when I was very young. And since I was living in that place, so I bought it in Ayala, Alabang, which at that time, I became the youngest member because I was still in my 20s when I got my membership. Thinking about that, my daughter was also in her 20s. Also, I got her own shares and she was working for me and she ended up being the youngest member. But only for a short while, right? You're no longer the youngest member. Next slide. The whole point of this hard work and effort is to ensure that you can make your own money. And the more, the better. You really should not rely on your inheritance. While it may be nice to have, not knowing how to make your own money might end up turning you into a bum. Some people call it mooching off on your relatives. You should be your own man or woman and gain the respect of others, establish a good reputation, and be a good role model for your children. The only way to achieve financial freedom is knowing how to make money. It is not enough that you have money because it can be lost or or stolen. It is also not enough that you work hard, but you should also work smart. When investing your hard-earned money, make sure you know what you are getting into, and if you can trust the people you are dealing with. If you don't understand it, or you don't know the people, don't do it. We think carefully about things that cost us a lot of money or have a significant impact on our lives, such as which school to go or what course to take. Choosing who to marry is probably several notches above that, but it really does not have to be complicated. All you need to do is find somebody you like that suits your lifestyle and career. It would really be helpful if you have the same interest and a similar background. I would like to take this opportunity to temper what your grandparents or parents might say about not choosing someone who is smart, well-educated, and good-looking. They seem to want to lower the standards of what your expectations are. Well, because they may not have a kind heart or become a good spouse. So that's what the parents want you to look for now. But I have news for you. Just because somebody has a low IQ, uneducated, and ugly, does not mean that they are better inside. So you keep that in mind. Huh? You have to make the effort and find out for yourself. You want to have a spouse that can grow with you. Don't sell yourself short, but also be realistic. The real challenge is to find the right person that likes you back. If you are not ready to make a full commitment to be an entrepreneur, go into businesses that you don't need to do on a full-time basis. Things that I have done include real estate, property rentals, buying and selling of used cars, providing advisory services, yung mga sideline businesses ko noon that make me good money, and making passive investments. It was a great way to get your feet wet and be a learning experience for you. There are many roads to success, and sometimes we have to explore to see which one suits us the most. Going into different businesses is also a great way to diversify your risk, gain experience, establish your network, and build up capital. Keeping the business small and under the radar enables you to avoid the costs and headaches of dealing with the government bureaucracy, which I have to warn you in advance about. Entrepreneurship is a long drawn-out process that is a 24/7 job, unlike being an employee, which is a 9 to 5 job on workplace. Before going into business, you should know the challenges beforehand and manage your expectations. Sometimes the magic does not happen overnight, and hitting on the right formula for success takes years. Always have a backup or contingency plan. Look at your alternatives, and it is true that you should not put all your eggs in one basket. Not everyone is born an entrepreneur, and you need to have a certain skill set and character to make it work. The more you have of dedication, knowledge, experience, network, capital, the better your chances of success as an entrepreneur. As a caveat, relatives will not always be supportive of your dreams. So I think we're at the tail end. Next slide. This is my short list for you to remember and take home with you. If you can take a snapshot of that, you might learn something from it. Okay, in hindsight, I would like to share with you some of my thoughts. Bankers have long memories, as was explained by a previous speaker. You don't want to get on their bad side. Beware of fair weather friends. Treat everyone fairly. The world is round. Learn as much as you can. The best time to be friends with people is when you don't need anything from them. See and understand the big picture and have a longer term horizon. Diversification reduces risks. Luck comes more to those who are prepared. Be nice to people, but don't let them take too much advantage of you. Understand that you can't take it with you, I mean to the grave, no? But you will still need the money even when you die. Try to leave a lasting heritage. Teach and prepare your children and grandchildren as much as you can, as well as you can. In a way, we can continue living through them. Last time. So with that, may you all have good fortune, prosperity, longevity, and auspiciousness. Thank you very much. I'd like to have a selfie with you guys if you don't mind.
Okay, everybody, make sure you're part of the selfie. Wow, I love it. Thank you so much. Please stay, Sir George. We're gonna have a quick Q&A. Okay, please have all of us. Okay, please take a seat. Thank you. I really enjoyed that. You know, it wasn't just a business forum. It felt like it was like a life forum. You know, marriage tips spa. Okay, so I think we already have some of your fiery questions. Go ahead, please introduce yourself. Over the tech, can we please request the echo to be a little bit less, just so we can hear each other more?
Good afternoon. My name is Mika Alvarez, and I just want to ask, is being good in math important for business? If yes, how so?
Okay, this is for everybody who isn't such a fan of mathematics. So, please enlighten us, sir.
Can I just make sure that I understood it correctly? Is being good in math helpful in business? Yeah, of course. Because for the simple reason that the more money you make, the more zeros it will require. So it does help knowing how to count the money, correct? So obviously, many applications, everything from accounting to finance and all of these things require acuity with numbers. The numbers are your friends, and that's also why I took up engineering, which was a very good technical background for me. And I took up 2 degrees in engineering, which was mechanical engineering and industrial management engineering. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, she's like, okay, I gotta make sure I pass with flying colors. Okay, next question.
Hello po, I'm Marcela Go from Philippine Cultural College. And I just want to ask po, what are the challenges that you have encountered and how did you overcome it po?
First of all, there are many challenges involved. In every stage of my life, I have encountered different challenges. For example, in school, of course, you know, sometimes you're not so fortunate in having a very good professor. So you ended up not relying on the professor, but doing your own research, which during my time, and you have to remember that when I started engineering, we were still using the slide rule, which many of you just see in the museums now. So what happened is that we had to overcome a lot of these problems, and that's the same with businesses. There are some, just to give you an idea, one of the companies that I had invested in was in the satellite business, which is GSAT, which is in direct competition with Signal. So we currently have about 1.6 million subscribers. I believe Signal has 1 million more than us. And one big difference between us is we're making money and they're not. But that's not the story. The story was, when I first put my money in, 3 years we were losing money. You know, we were bleeding. We had to pay the transponders for the satellite. We had to keep on operations. And we only had 66,000 subscribers. So that was a problem. So how do you overcome that? You have to think of outside the box. And we were able to overcome that situation by offering a 99 peso G Pinoy program, which we were within that year, we were able to increase an additional 100,000 and build it up to the point where we are now.
Can I ask another question?
Okay.
Did did you ever think of giving up, and what inspired you of not giving up?
Giving up, yes.
No. First of all, surrender is not in my vocabulary. But that does not mean to say if you see that there is really no hope on something, whether it's an employee, one of your executives, or a business, no? Then you'd be foolish to keep on doing something that will not lead to anything better. So what you need to do is you may have a specific course of action, but that does not mean to say that you totally give up. I mean, you just change the route. Like if there's a roadblock on the road, yeah, you just look for a. I mean, it doesn't mean to say that you stop going to wherever it is your goal is, your destination. What you simply need to do is let Waze find another route for you.
Wow, I love that. Okay, thank you. Oh, I think we have a question from that side. Let's give that side a chance. Hello, please introduce yourself.
I'm Charles Anthony Siu. I'm from De La Salle University. I would like to ask, how do you manage your dissertation with business and, of course, your main job? And as a side question, what's your ID number in De La Salle University?
It feels so long ago, but I joined. Are we talking about college or high school or grade school? I graduated in '81 for my double degree program, which was a 5-year course. What was the question that you wanted to ask?
How do you manage
Okay. First of all, I try to do things that I just don't do them for the sake of doing them. For example, the paper that I'm doing, which is for my dissertation, I decided to do it on the commercialization of electric vehicles. And that's right along my alley. I have invested in an electric vehicle company. I've spoken to the people from the BOI and they think that it's wonderful that I'm helping them out on that. So I don't view that as something that is a waste. And once you view something as it being important, then you do make the time for it. Of course, much like in any business, you can't run it all by yourself. So in my case, I have a couple of professors who I have engaged that are helping me out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we have time for a few more. Okay, hello. Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Maybelline Lau. I'm also from Philippine Cultural College. Before you ventured to the automotive industry, you were in the banking industry. So what made you change industries?
Actually, the transition or what made me totally give up most of my professional engagements, although I was already president, chief operating officer, or CEO of the company, was when my father passed away in 2012. You know, I remembered a lot of the things he said. And that's why I decided to just work for companies that we owned or we had equity in. So, on hindsight, I think I should have done that much earlier.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we are, okay, but we'll give one more chance to you. Last question.
Thank you. My name is Abby Ong. I'm an engineering student, so I wanted to know, how has your engineering degree helped you in business?
Actually, not so much on the, let's say, the engineering formulas and things like that, but it was the discipline, the logical thinking process that I make use of, that I've been able to maximize and take advantage of. I don't remember my speed charts anymore and things like that, but I know how to do the basic calculations that helps me in doing a project feasibility study and so on.
So if you were to go back, would you say that studying engineering was worth it?
Oh, I think so. First of all, engineering sounds, technical. It sounds pinahirapan. So parang you do gain instant recognition in that. Wow, engineering ka. It's. I think I do it all over again if I had to.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your questions. And yes, everyone who asked a question is coming home with a token as well. Okay, speaking of which, sir, we also have a token of appreciation for you. So we are inviting up on stage our TV CEO, Mr. Alvin Kingston Tan, and our project head, Josh Yu. So you got goodies courtesy of our sponsors. Thank you so much. It's great that you brought your daughter with you as well. Okay. Okay, there we go. And smile. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are almost halfway through our program. Now that we are, oh, thank you so much. Now that we are done with two of our keynote speakers, it's time for our first panel discussion. And with that, we've invited actually brothers who are in their family business. And yes, so joining us, we've got, okay, I think they're over here on the front row, and I'm sure they are ready. Okay, we've got Mr. Eric Thomas T, the eldest son of restaurateur Eric Enrico, or Ricky T, and he is now the president and COO of Foodie Global Concepts, the company behind some of our favorite restaurants, such as Mesa, Town, and Bench Cafe, among others. He is best known for introducing the celebrity chef concept and the food hall concept as well as launching a trend of Michelin-starred restaurants in the Philippines. So we also have his brother, okay, none other than another Eric D, or Eric Enrico D, co-founder of Sunny Studio, which many of us are aware of as a leading sunglass line, and eventually expanded into selling prescription glasses as well as cosmetics and even restaurants. So let's bring them up over here, guys, a big hand. Wow, they are definitely bringing the youth in this Taipan Youth Summit. Okay, take a seat. They are very fashionable as well, don't you think? And I think some of their family, they're here also to support, so that's good to know. First up, say hello to everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I love it.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so you got your mics already. First up, welcome. I love it. You guys, oh, look at that. Very youthful, yeah. And earlier you were like, okay, who's the elder brother? Who's the shoggy? Who's the aya?
Okay, my name is Eric Thomas D.
Thomas D.
Eldest son.
Eldest son.
I'm also the aya, the eldest brother.
Okay, and
I'm Eric Enrico D. Jr. Some people call me Eric, some people call me JR, to get things straight. And I am the shoggy, the second family, and I run the retail part of the business.
that's awesome. Is your father here to watch? Oh, okay, he's not. Okay. So, wow, I love it. So all three of you have the same names, huh? Oh, you're Eric Lees. Okay, well, at least you have different nicknames. Okay, so, well, both of you, first up, let's take it back a few years. Flashback. Were you ever, did you always think that this would be the path for you? You know, as your father being, you know, such a celebrated figure in the business industry, did you feel like this was already a clear-cut path for both of you being into business? Or were you also a fan of the arts or probably other industries?
For myself, I always say the story that I pretty much was born in the kitchen. Because my parents gave birth to me when they were 19 years old. So when they started the restaurant, I was pretty much with the waiters and the cooks going to the wet market. So in a way, it felt second nature to me. Moving on, when I was at my teens, I worked into McDonald's and Jollibee. And as I was in college, I was also a waiter. So in a sense, I was kind of groomed to do it, but I did explore other things, but eventually just really fell in love with being in food.
Okay, so I guess it was just destiny for you. Wow, I love it. And you also were interested in it. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely interested in it. So
Listen,
I ended up
We
doing
all,
it, right?
yeah, we all love food. And how about you? Were you also part of Foodie before venturing into Sunny's?
Well, we basically had the same training. I was also trained in the kitchen and the food industry, but I think what my dad focused was more of the entrepreneurial spirit. You know, equipping up with the fundamentals of how to run a business, how to see business opportunities, and that's what I applied when I ventured into the retail aspect of the business, which is Sunny Studios.
Nice, awesome. Well, congratulations, still so very young and so very accomplished. So let's talk about personality types as well. Like, could you probably like briefly explain to us? You know, I think it's all the rage now when it comes to. I'm sure it's not just us. Even adults, we all have personality types. Did you feel like it was a perfect match for what you are doing today? Like, are you more of an extrovert, an introvert? If not, how do you see it all matching up?
Passionate, driven, extrovert.
Wow! All the extras.
Yes, but actually the extrovert part might be forced into me. I actually like to stay.
Okay then.
So I actually like to stay home, play with the kids. I was actually in bed by 10:30 last night. I woke up at 5 a.m. today, which was not my schedule back then, but nowadays it's actually something that I treasure to spend time with the kids. But because we're in the restaurant industry, we have to do all these events and also be entertained, right? Because you are in the service industry.
We have to be entertaining, even if sometimes you just want to stay at home. Okay, and how about you?
My wife, who's here, is also an Ateneo graduate, told me to say that I am an ENTJ.
Oh, ENTJ.
Extroverted, intuitive, thinker, and judgmental.
Judging ka pala. No.
So basically, I think what helps me basically, based on my personality, I think there are things that my wife, I want to tell you to come up here and explain for me not to sound but it's very more of like how I look into things. I walk into a room, I walk into an art gallery, or walk into a store, and I look at a lot of the different details and my ability to be able to store that and reference from it and apply it to different aspects of the business. So with Sunny Studios, a lot of the things we do in-house, our store designs, our engineering, everything in terms of creativity and marketing is all done in-house, and that's where the detail-orientedness plays a big factor in.
Nice. Okay, very well said. I love it. Are you sure? Maybe she can come up here. Yeah, no? Maybe later on she'll ask you a question for the Q&A. Okay, so how about the challenges? You know, right now, if we check up on all of your brands, they all look so glossy already and well-made. I'm sure you went through a lot of different challenges along the way as well that we don't see. So maybe you can share some of those and how did you overcome them?
I think the biggest challenge now is the conception that retail is dying or there's something going on with retail. Especially with big brands coming in and also big brands around the world globally failing and closing up shop. So for us, what we consider a challenge that we go through every day is how do we evolve the business? So with all the industries that we're in, these have been traditional businesses. We're into optical, we're into beauty. The thing that we do with these studios is that we don't necessarily have to change our core business, but what we do is we evolve and improve the things that help the process, help the pricing. We innovate to make the product simpler and more attractive to our consumers. So retail is all about evolving and innovating.
Evolving and innovating, okay. And later on, we will also be opening questions for you guys, okay. How about for you, Thomas the other Eric, okay, meanwhile. Okay, for you, what are some of the winning qualities that Uri has as well that help you overcome your challenges?
So it's very challenging for the restaurant industry. As you know, there are restaurants that pop up every week. There's also restaurants that close every week. In order for us to stay relevant, Foodie Global Concepts has to continue to set trends. It's actually a very tedious job. It looks very glamorous in front, but really, every single penny counts. Everything you save, you earn. It's really a volume game here. But again, we try to stay focused on what's core value of the company, which is affordable luxury, where we give value to the consumer. We're really up to giving, at the right price point and giving the value to the customers.
Nice. Okay, so now that both of you are in the family businesses, you would say, although you do have your certain expertise, you're mostly into studies, you're mostly into food, do you, like, you still have family dinners or lunches together? Do you give each other feedback as well? How does the whole family concept play in the business side of things?
Actually, we still live in the same house.
Oh, nice.
I live with my parents, same with my brother. So we take advantage of the opportunity to be able to tackle things on a day-to-day basis. So a lot of our concepts are actually born out of the dinner table. For example, Sunny's Cafe was a collaboration between the Sunny's brand and my family business. So there are a lot of things that we are able to talk about and strategize, and being in different industries enables us to understand and have a deeper understanding of what's going on in the market.
Oh, I love it. It's like, what's for dinner and what's the proposal for this evening? And how about for you?
Well, just to add on to that, we define our family vacations as boardroom meetings. It's a little bit less stressful. Sometimes when you talk about when I have to report to my father, normally it's in a time where there's already something that needs to be done. But in this situation where we're on the vacation, a lot of us are more relaxed. We're a little bit more open with each other and kind of like going through things by example. So when we travel, we see a lot of these new concepts and seeing how we can replicate it or turn it our own version for the Manila market. So it's always kind of consistently being instilled in the family. My dad, myself, and my brother would go on trips and kind of like walk in the supermarket and then just define businesses. Define failures of other families or define successes of other families and how we can replicate that or how we can move on.
Nice. Okay, I love it. Sounds like a fun fancy gathering and very, very informative as well. And it's, I think, one great thing there is that you just keep on evolving. Every chance you get, you learn from each other as well. Okay, so we are opening the floor to some questions, but as some of you step forward, my next question would be about, this is all about choosing your path. We've got a lot of millennials, mga Gen Z na nga yung iba over here, who are, some already have family businesses, some already have a better picture of where they want to go. But how about for those who are undecided yet? What are your tips for them? Did you have a certain point in your life where you were just like, maybe I'll go this direction instead, or maybe I'll try this one? So how do you make sure that you come with the right decisions to choose that path that's perfect for you? Is it also a gut feel that you know in your heart, I'm meant to do this?
Well, like my brother, I was also trained to be more towards business, so I thought that was where the path that I was going. But when I graduated college, I had no idea of what field to enter, and it just so happened that I was given the opportunity to start a business early on, 22. And that first business evolved into a different business. So from Charlie to some studios, I wouldn't even imagine myself being back in college around 20 saying, I'd want to have my own optical shop. So now we are involved in that industry. What more? Beauty. We're also in the beauty industry with Sunny Space. So I think it's continuous evolution and just equipping yourself with the right fundamentals in identifying gaps in the market and opportunities. Because if you have that, I think you'd be ready to face on different challenges.
Nice. And for you, how about tips on choosing the right path for you?
So I'm a little bit more different because I ended up doing that same path. But for me, I guess it wasn't forced upon me. I tried banking for a little bit. I tried sales for a little bit. But I ended up going back to food where I felt the most comfortable. But I guess what I wanted to leave this with is strive for success, but more than that, also try to deal with failure, because it defines you what you do after that failure, how you can rise again and turn that failure into a success. So I feel that failure is necessary in order for you to succeed.
Wow, well said. I love it. Okay, almost sounds like a pageant. Q&A portion. Okay, so guys, go ahead and take this chance to ask your questions for our D brothers. Okay, we've got questions over there. Please introduce yourself, from which school you're from as well. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Daniel Loibonco from UB. My question addressed to both D brothers is, as trendsetters, what is it about a concept that makes you go, that can be a product that we can replicate in the Philippines?
For the restaurant at least, I think the first step that it has to be good first. First of all, it has to be good. Second, I think we have to look at the country's demographic, what they can afford, which category you want to enter, what's your consumers like, how they're going to buy, is it going to work back here. Not all the good brands that are available outside are necessarily going to be effective in a particular region. I was just talking to my wife about this going here, that everything needs to have to be able to localize a little bit as far as, as simple as the price points is concerned or the flavor profile in general. But it has to have some localization.
Thank you very much. Do you have a follow-up?
And I guess also, the word trend is very sensitive in such a way that not all trends are made to last. Right? So you have to be very careful with identifying a product or a service that will last through time.
Nice. Thank you. Well said. Thank you very much. Okay, how about from that corner? Hello?
Good afternoon. I'm Lei from Champion College. My question is, as young businessmen, could you please explain to us some of your company's corporate social responsibility among your current, potential, and future clients?
So for us, I think currently our campaign is really on plastic. I think a lot of the people are concerned now about where plastic goes and how it ends up in the ocean. So we're trying to do our part, knowing that we're contributing a lot to the usage of plastic in this country for our takeout containers, for the straws. So currently, Foodie Global Concepts is a no straw restaurant, unless requested, but we will also give you a paper or metal straw. So that's kind of what we're doing.
I think being in this generation, it opens your eyes and you become more sensitive with everything that's going on around the world. And us with Sunnies, what we do is we define a roadmap that we are planning to do in the next couple of years for us to be able to sustain our business, but at the same time prepare ourselves for changes. For example, improving our supply chain, talking to our suppliers, continuous collaboration with suppliers, how to improve the material usage that our company uses, how we are able to reuse, recycle, post-consumerism are things that we actually focus on, and there's defined in a roadmap.
Thank you very much. Glad to hear the CSR behind all of your successful businesses. And over there, go ahead, yes.
Hi, my name is Bobby. I from Untitled Chapter. My question is addressed to both the big brothers. So I was in Mega Mall just last week, and I passed by Sunny Studios and Sunny's Cafe, and impressively, both of them were filled. There was a queue. Now, in particular, about Sunny's Cafe, I know that they offer a booking offer, right? With the booking app. Now, my question is, does this collaboration with Booking help in attracting more customers to Sunny's Cafe? Because personally, me, I think that their app is really their outfit. So I used my Booking app just last week.
So my brother I handle Sunny's Cafe instead. He handles the back end with all the cookie.
So we try to work with a lot of our partners. With Booking specific, we've been working together since they started and since I started. So we work together very closely as far as being able to push our brands, as well as working with them also to give their users the proper promotions that we have for them. They've been able to give us the foot traffic that we want, and at the same time, they're also contributing to help us market the place. Thank you. It's a win-win situation.
Nice, thank you. Okay, so it's great that you're able to come up with these partnerships as well, not just, your own marketing solutions. Yeah, collaborations do help as well. Okay, hello, go ahead.
I'm Nina Tayani. I'm an alumni
questions actually. I got the impression from your talk that you guys weren't very business-minded in the beginning. It's more of like your family provided you guys with resources. So for you, what was the turning point that you suddenly became business-minded, or who influenced you, or what event in your life influenced you to become business-minded?
I think the training early on is what helped. When I was attending Ateneo College, my dad didn't give me any allowance. So what happened was I had to come up with a business to supply one of our companies. So even before walking into my class at 7:30 a.m., I had to wake up extra early at 5 a.m. selling shawmai and bringing it to the commissary. So I think that is more of like how we were able to be trained. My weekends would be spent on job sites, constructing restaurants up until the time in college that I was constructing a mall with my dad. These are all training that equipped us with the right fundamentals, and then when the right opportunity came that we saw a gap, for example, in the market of sunglasses, eyewear, this helped us start up our own business.
So what about for those people that don't have those certain opportunities or advantage?
Well, for me, it was also, when I was younger, I was asked by my father to start working as a dishwasher. So working has always been part of our life. Actually, from one of the talks that was given earlier this week, they were mentioning that start early. And I think that's what really jump-started us to get into this, kind of like knowing that we're eventually going to have to work doing business rather than, after college, I'm just going to start working. So I think both of us started working when we were 13 years old, literally as a dishwasher, and then I flipped burgers at McDonald's. I think it's not more of the resources, but really my dad just dragged us along, and it's the same thing that I do with my kid. I drag him along the restaurants, or else I won't be able to see him at night. So most of the time after class, I'd be like, oh, come to the restaurant. It might not be his thing for now, but looking back, I eventually felt that that's why I'm so comfortable in the restaurant, is because my dad has been bringing me ever since I was young.
Can I have one last question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys have been talking about trends, and how do you spot a fad? And is there anything, let's say, how do you spot a sustainable trend that would last more than 5 years? Because before, yogurt was such a huge thing, and now it's barely there.
I love it. An hour about
Well, we try to look at the product at first. If it's something that is sustainable, you're correct about yogurt, where it kind of like was the biggest thing that went back down. And eventually, we saw this brand called Yao Yao in Singapore, where it had lines of an hour waiting, and it had 25 stores in a small country in Singapore. So what my dad would always say is that you cannot contest success. So you look into that aspect of it and try it out. It's not necessarily a product that I normally eat as far as healthy is concerned, but it's something that we did, and we're happy that we did it, because now we have multiple stores, and I think there is that trend is coming.
Thank you very much. Okay, I love it. So I love hearing all of your little anecdotes from the past of us. Started from the bottom selling shawmai, now we're in Sunny's Cafe and all of your restaurants.
Actually, that was shawmai and bigas.
Bigas?
So, showbiz.
Wow, showbiz pala. I love it, guys. Pinapaka naman natin yung showbiz. And also all of their insightful points. I'm sure a lot of you were inspired. Thank you as well for asking away those questions. So yes, right now we have tokens for you guys as well. And also flowers for your beautiful wives. Okay, so we have our joint CEO, Mr. Alvin Tap, together with Eunice this time, one of our project heads. Thank you, thank you. I'm sure that made us a little bit hungry. talking about burgers and all their delicious food. But thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Okay, please step forward for a photo, group photo. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so that wraps up our first panel discussion for today. We have one more in just a bit after two more keynote speakers. And this moves, okay, now we are just saying, I just like to remind everybody for our ongoing social media contest, you can win a stay for two in City Hotels Boracay. All you have to do is post away what happiness means for you with these hashtags Taipan Youth Summit 2019, Citic Hotel, and hashtag Happy Everyday Tag Cheer TV, and Citic Hotel as well. And make sure that your post or your profile is on public so that we can see all your entries. We are checking them out both on Instagram and on Facebook, so go ahead and post away. Again, this is a stay for two in Boracay. Okay, so we have our sponsors as well. We'd like to thank them. We've got Mega Sardines, Food Source, Primer Group, FitBlock, Spring Asia Beauty, Team Executive Decision, Big and Fine Floral Studios, Johnny's Choice, Jet Korean Barbecue House, and Manila Bulletin. Okay, so now we move forward to our third speaker for today. Okay, so he is a graduate of Business Administration and Management from the University of Asia and the Pacific. He completed his master's in entrepreneurship at the Ateneo Graduate School of Business and co-founded one of the country's largest truck suppliers in his 20s. He is also the son of Mega Fish Corporation CEO Mr. William Q. Lim. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all give it up for the Vice President for Sales and Marketing of Mega Global Corporation and the President of AutoKit Truck Solutions, Mr. Marvin Q. Lim.
Hello guys, good afternoon. So I'm very honored to be here today. I don't know why Alvin picked me. There are so many better people in front of me who can speak and deliver a better message. Siguro gusto niya may bad news muna. So I'm here today to share to you my experience. Yun lang. I don't think I am successful in any way. I will just share to you what I've been going through in my life. And I hope that most of you, if not some of you, will take part, whether good or bad, in whatever I have to say. So the topic is personal or family business, or why do you have to even choose between the two? So I am Marvin Lim. This is a short, boring profile of me. So here you go, my career profile. That's my picture, very stuck up. So I'm 31 years old. I'm married. I have two cute little boys. My wife, my ever-supportive wife, Pinky, is here as well. I am the youngest of 5 siblings. I graduated entrepreneurship, not management. I graduated from ESA, Entrepreneur School of Asia. And I first started my career as a management trainee, working for the SM group of companies. Back then when it was really, really hard to work for them. I am also now the president of Kid Group of Companies, which holds Laptop Kid, Auto Kid. And I was a management trainee back then for my dad's business. And I graduated again in Masters in Entrepreneurship of the Ateneo, Graduate School of Business in Makati in 2014. Currently, I am honored to be the Vice President for Sales and Marketing for our company, Mega Global Corp, starting in 2016. And I recently graduated a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, from Singularity University for Executive Education. So, done with the boring stuff. Next. So I grew up, like most of you, in a business-oriented family. So being in a business-oriented family, as you all know, majority of us, or a lot of us, did not have summers or weekends. So like them here, I did not have my summers or my weekends to myself. I had to go to the office at the very young age of 6 years old. So ever since then, I was being trained and trained. My whole family was being trained by my parents, or particularly my very, very strict dad. So he taught us about discipline. As you all know, marami tayong parents who are very, very strict. And they really instilled to us, even at a young age, that we really, really need to do better in our lives. And we really need to have discipline. So I really had trouble with that growing up. I'll explain to you later what happened. And my dad taught us that we weren't bosses. So even though we were COOs, the child of the owners, we were never to be bosses in our company. We would have to earn where we are, and we would have to earn what we do in the company. So he also taught me independence. So this is more of financial independence. Kasi sobrang kuripot siya. So he would not really give me much allowance. He would not spend on anything for me, and he would not buy me new stuff. So I had to, he taught me how to, he taught me that if you wanted something in life, that you had to earn it yourself. So no, there was no such thing as a free lunch. So I think this was very pivotal for me because they did start a very big business, and they did teach us that we couldn't inherit it without earning it. Okay? So what did I do to earn these small things that I wanted back in high school? I had an allowance and I barely ate. So I did not eat lunch and break time para lang maka-ipon ako ng ipon. So I had to bring in baon from home, and minsan hindi ako nagbabaon kasi nahiya pa ako magbaon. So talagang pumayat ako in high school. I was really thin. So I was also selling groceries in the office. We had fishermen in Navotas back then when we were based here. I used to start selling cigarettes, Coke, I would buy in macro, and I would sell it to our fishermen, tapos pinapasalary deduction ko. So I had my ways of maybe trying to find ways to really earn money kahit maliliit na tinitingin lang yun. So online gaming, when I was in third year high school, I think that was around 12, 15 years ago, I dabbled myself in online gaming. I really love computers. I played Ragnarok. I think there's still Ragnarok now. But I played Ragnarok to an addictive extent wherein I was buying and selling items online. So as I bought and sold items, virtual items online, I would get in a virtual currency online as well. They're called Zeni. So I did this for a good whole year in my school, and unfortunately, 3 of my quarters in school, 7 subjects, I failed all of them in 3 quarters. So my parents were really, really upset. But the good side of it is that I earned so much money from it because I was actually selling these Zeni to people in coffee shops, in internet cafes for actual real money. So that's when I developed it. They said, okay, so I can earn money pala. Dali lang pala kumita ng pera. Pero yun pala, there are trade-offs as well. I forgot about my studies and my mom was so pissed. So I tend not to get her pissed off. I was also in the buying and selling of gadgets, cameras, and small electronics when I was young. Next. So why? After I graduated high school, I began to question why my father did this. Nagkaroon ako ng resentment. I had no social life in high school. I was stuck at work, trying to do my own business. I couldn't play in summer classes with my friends. I had no weekends. So I felt that I was trapped in a cage. I was really, why do this to me? You're torturing me. And nevertheless, and when I got to college, I really broke out. So I think some of you here are in college. When I broke out, I went wild. Most of you here tend to go wild as well. You go partying, you go drinking, you go have fun with your friends. And I don't think that's an issue. That's not a problem because it's an outlet. But the thing is, I took it a bit too far. So what happened to me back when I was in college was I had a false sense of freedom. I thought that, okay, nakalaya na ako, I'm free, I can do what I want. I had a car, I had a driver, I had independence. I could do whatever I want. But it was after a series of failed relationships with friends and not hanging out with the wrong type of people. Back in 2007, I almost died in a car crash. So almost, when I say almost, my car literally burned in the street. And buti na lang, thank God, I didn't hurt anyone. I wasn't hurt. And good thing that I had my seatbelt on, because if not, I wouldn't be here today. And I call this the pivotal moment in my life. So everything changed after that moment. I went to church, I found my wife, I found my business partners after that. So after that, it was really a sense of more maturity coming into my life. I really need to be more mature, really need to be serious in life, and this is what I did afterwards. So I knew I eventually had to work for a family business, but I wanted more training first. So after that incident, my mom was again pissed as crazy as you could. If some of you know my mom, she was a jolly person before, but if you see her now, her face always frowns. So I think that's because of me. So I started my first business when I was in college. As I told you, I was doing the gadget reselling thing. So I eventually diversified and really found my niche in the laptop business. So in the laptop, I buy laptops online from the US and sell it here. Initially, I was selling the high-end ones, Alienware, gaming laptops, Asus ROG. And I would sell these laptops in the back of my car, after school, before school, in between school, and meet them in the malls. Ngayon, I don't think I can do that anymore. I might be at the PNP selling drugs. So after that, while still doing the laptop business, because it was relatively easy to do it on the laptop online, because I was just posting in OLX, iOS and all these online ads. I started working for a computer selling company. This lasted for over 2 months. But eventually, I wanted to work in a company that can really train me hard. And that's wherein I entered the SM malls as a management training, and eventually being a tenant relations officer. So this was very hard for me because, again, nawala yung weekends ko. Being in a mall, you have to work on weekends, and being in a mall, nawala rin yung holidays ko. Kasi you have to either pick whether Christmas or New Year. So it's really tough. But then eventually, I worked there for a year, but then I was saying, anong ginagawa ko? What really is my passion? Am I gonna do this because my family asked me to do this? Am I gonna do this because I want to do this? What really is my passion? So I really came to a point, okay, what do I do now? Do I want to continue working, continue building my skills, continue building my relationships with the professionals? But I said, I wasn't happy. It was taking a toll on my life, it was taking a toll on my health. And I said, okay, why not do something I'm passionate about? So I will just show you a plug since I'm here. So this is my passion for it. Okay, so there's supposed to be sound. So before they fix it, I know many of you have big family businesses. So again, this is a plug. Don't forget about me when you grow up and start working in your family businesses. We sell very good trucks. So I just read it na lang. So those are my partners, Kevin and Eric, whom I met in church in a retreat after that almost based on us.
I'm here right now at the AutoKit Truck City Mega Showroom to meet the founder. Today we're here to learn more about AutoKit Truck Solutions, a direct importer of brand new and Japan surplus trucks here in the Philippines. I'm here right now at the AutoKit Truck City Mega Showroom to meet the founders to learn more about their mission, vision, and story.
So here at AutoKit Truck Solutions, our company's mission is to really empower businesses to achieve greater heights by delivering them effective, efficient, and economic truck solutions for their business.
Our vision is to become the most premier and most preferred household name when it comes to trucks. Empowerment. We believe in empowering employees and empowering our clients to achieve greater heights through the use of our trucks. Reliability. We strive to let our customers know that they can fully rely on us for their truck needs. Discipline. We treat our customers with utmost discipline. We also treat our operations with the best discipline. Partnership is the forefront of our business. We believe in a win-win scenario in every business transaction that we do, and we believe the partnership can go a long way in our God-centeredness is the foundation and bedrock of our company. Philippians chapter 4 verses 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. In being a company that strives to empower others, it is important that we ourselves are connected to the one that empowers us.
Here at AutoKit, we are driven to understand the goals of our customers by giving them a wide selection of truck solutions for their business. One of the biggest problems in the trucking industry is the lack of parts and service. AutoKit Truck Solutions strives to solve this problem by being a one-stop shop for your trucking business. With a wide range of parts, skillful mechanics, and a growing knowledge base, we strive to support the industry by heavily investing in after-sales service. We do this by partnering with great quality manufacturers abroad.
I can attest that AutoKit Truck Solutions always strive for quality in their products and services. Learn more about that in our next episode.
Okay, so alam niyo na saan bibili ng truck, ha? 5 years, abangan ko yun. So, AutoKit was started by me and my partner Kevin back in 2011. Actually, we just did our 8th year anniversary last week. We started with 3 employees and we started as a used car dealership. That's why, hence the name AutoKit. But in 2014, we needed to diversify into the truck business, and by 2018 now, we have over 12 branches and 350 employees. So why say the truck business? It's not a flattering business to get into, especially when you're young. It's something that majority of us do not want to engage in, and that's where we saw the opportunity to do so. So we really we put innovation, we put technology in the processes, and we put youthfulness in the industry. So that's AutoKit. But when I saw AutoKit and when my partners were really handling it well, I really had a feeling that I needed to come back to our family business. Andun na eh, sayang, I mean, my dad started it, my brothers and sister, they built it up. And they really thought that, I really thought that they needed help, and I really need to refocus my efforts towards a family business. So this is our family. So we're a big family now, I think over 24 na kami. So we're growing. Again, I'm the youngest, so I handle sales and marketing. Ako yung maingay, okay nag-market. And again, since I handle marketing, I have to market to you guys. So this is a video of what we do.
Ang mga isda ng mega salads, sinuyod sa ilalim ng dagat. Gamit ang Untitled Fish Finder. Kaya ang malusog at malaman lang ang matitikman nyo. Ito ang fish pond. Mega lang ang gumagamit nito sa bansa. Nililipat nito ang mga isda tungo sa pinalamig na tubig dagat. Hindi katulad ng iba na pinapalag at tinatambak lang sa banyera. Sa Mega Wave, automatic dito. Kaya ang isda, walang contamination at hindi durog. Kaya buo-buo at sariwa. Dito dinidiskarga ang mga huli gamit ang vacuum pump. Sinusulit binubukod according to fish size. Saka inulubog sa yelo para manatiling firm at sariwa. High-tech ang proseso ito. Mabilis, malinis, at buong-buo pa rin ang isda. Sa traditional fishing, pagpapakipatuloy lang ang mga banyera pagkapalad ng isda ay ang madaling nasisira. Dito sa Mega, alagang-alaga ang bawat isda sa pinasadyang fish bins. Kaya angat ang pagkasariwa. Dito sa planta ginagawa ang paglalata ng sariwang huli. Masusing nililinis ang bawat isda ng state-of-the-art equipment. Bago punuin ng malasang sarsa. Tingin pa lang, lasang na ang sarap. lahat ng linamnam ay nasa bawat lata ng Mega Sardines. Niluto ang bawat lata, kaya mas sumasarap at lalong tumatagal kahit walang preservatives. Pagkatapos nito, maingat at maalagang dadalhin ito sa pinakamalapit na tindahan sa iyo. Kung sa iba, binubuhat at binabalibang, dito, makina ang gumagawa. Kaya hindi nasisira ang lata at isda. Ayan, malapit mo na siyang ma-enjoy sa bahay mo. Dito, naging bahagi ako ng bawat proseso. Pilit na pilit ako sa Mega. Pinuhin nyo, ilan taon nilang pinag-aralan ko para maging perfecto, malinis at maayos na proseso. Dahil lahat ng yan, para magbigay ang the best sa inyo. Kaya naman, Mega Sardines, number 1 sa Pilipinas. Sa buong mundo, ikilala ang pagkasariwa. Salamat sa pagsama sa ating journey. Masarap talaga. Tara, tayo.
So yes, kumakain talaga si Piolo ng sardinas. And that's particularly one aspect of the job I do. So to tell you more about what I do in the family business, I had to make that decision to work, and really I started from the bottom. I started as a van salesman in 2014, selling our sardines to each and every sari-sari store here in NCR. So I did this for a good 2 months. Medyo mahirap siya kasi I didn't know that you had to sell to each and sari-sari store pala each and every day. So currently we service over 100,000 stores nationwide directly. So it's very hard because there's a lot of effort that's put into selling sardines and selling these consumer goods products nationwide that we don't see. So my dad taught us that we couldn't go in guns blazing acting like a boss. We wouldn't be able to get the respect of the people. And most of these people, we employ over 4,000 people. Most of these people are older than me. So I came in at the young age of 25, 26 years old, and I didn't know anything. So I had to thrive off them, I had to live off them, I had to get so much knowledge off them. And I couldn't come in as a boss, hindi ko sila pwedeng utusan. So ako, I stayed humbled, I was listening to everything that they were telling me, and I really learned from them, and I continue to learn from them because it is them who is driving this business. Not me. They are the professionals, they are the ones who know more about their craft and skill. So I took the challenge on. My brother, who left for Canada, vacated the post, and I took on that challenge being the VP for Sales and Marketing. It was very, very hard because I was not used to all the pressure and all the corporate world, all the professionalism. It was very hard on me, and it really took me years to adjust, but hopefully, by God's grace, I was able to adjust. So we are, again, to plug in again, because sabi ng tao ko, kailangan ko plug. We are the number 1 sardine brand in the Philippines. We service over 100,000 stores. We also have other brands such as tuna and prime, corn, mushroom, and all that. So we are really a consumer goods marketing company. So what is my personal style? Again, I came into this business with professionals already in place. And these professionals knew more than me. I knew that even my competitors had better professionals more than me. So I had to create my own personal style when I came in. And what style other than did I know than myself, my youthfulness, my way of doing things. So I brought in branding. First thing I did when I went in 2015 was invested heavily on Facebook and YouTube. Well, majority of my competitors were not yet there. And because of that entrenchment, we are able to go direct to Google and Facebook, and we've won a couple of awards already from Google and Facebook. So we really cherish that long-term investment with them, and we really dig in deep because it is a very affordable way of communicating your brand to consumers. New processes. Right now, we're in the digital world where I am trying to revolutionize and evolve our business to go digital. So a lot of these information that we have now, kalat siya. So I'm trying to centralize it in a central database so that we can make accurate decisions and strategic decisions based on facts and not based on chaka-chaka lang. So employee engagement, I think this is number 1 in what I do. I keep the people happy. That's it. You just have to keep your people happy, keep them engaged, keep them in love with your business, in love with what you do. So that's primarily my goal. I give them a gym, I give them free food, well, hopefully free food, and I give them good benefits. I try to raise their pay, I try to match it with the industry standards. And it's tough kasi my parents are very traditional, my sister traditional. We don't really see eye to eye because we lived in a different generation. So that is my challenge to myself and to my people, to always lift them up and help them grow. So next. So my father taught me that one shouldn't stop learning and connecting. So my father was 67 when he started his Harvard course. So he studied again at the age of 67. So what more can we do for ourselves at a young age right now? So that's when I learned I had to study more, be engaged more, and connect more. I joined Anvil, I joined JCI, recently I joined EO, it's Nabea and Eric are there as well. So you have to connect, you have to go out and connect to other people because these people will really bring you to where you are in the future. So next. So visualize, remind yourself where you want to go. Slowly you will get there. Ever since I was, I think, 13 years old, I used to have goals printed all over. I did my goals and I printed them all over and I pasted them in the washroom, in the urinal. And when I woke up, I would just look at it and keep on looking at it and visually, paisa-isa it was coming through. And I think it's sort of like a hack to just visualize it and put it, and you slowly get to it. So I have to hurry up because you're telling me to go, sorry. So how do I manage both? So I be passionate, I learn to delegate, I empower people, and I am well, they say I am a visionary, but I more or less just set what our goal is and just make sure everyone follows that goal and everyone really hurdles through that goal. So right now, so learn to love what you do. So the saying is, you have to be passionate, you have to love what you do. But really, I saw this in a book sometimes. Successful businessmen didn't love everything they engaged in. You really have to learn to love it. When I started in my family business, I hated it. It was really, really hard. And it was not in my scope of interest. But after a while, I really had to learn to love it. And now I really do love what I'm doing. And it's no longer a chore. I really love going in and I love spending time with my people. Okay. So what's next? What's next for me is I want to take the company public in the next 5 years. I want to learn more. I want to go to additional executive courses. I want to learn more from you guys, learn more from other people, and connect more to better, successful people in the world. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening and sparing 30 minutes of your time.
Thank you so much, Mark and Q-Them. Please take a seat. We'll do a quick Q&A chit-chat. Good to see you again. Always plugging good. Okay, so go ahead. So now please do collect your questions. Okay, we already have some. Okay, go ahead, take a breath. Congratulations, first of all. And I do like the new refreshed AutoKid branding as well. So may pa-episodes po kayo.
Oh yes, we have episodes with James Deacon. So lahat ng mga ginagawa ko sa Mega, we try to do it.
Grabe, yun ba yung ride mo coming here? Nakatrack ka, no? Dapat may sardines sa head mo. Okay, go ahead, let's have our first question. Okay, hello, please introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, so I'm Jared Santiago and I'm a recent grad. Yeah, so my question is how were you able to introduce changes in terms of, for example, you mentioned raising pay and introducing benefits in the face of having family members and seniors who are more traditional?
So that's a good question. It's really tough. Those are the times we're in. Sometimes, bahala kayo, ayaw nyo, mag-redesign na lang ako. But then I always think that way. But again, thinking about maturity, you can't do it that way. You can't force yourself in. You have to slowly show them that you are getting things done and slowly build their respect and slowly their grip, their control of you will loosen. If you show them that you know what you're doing, they will loosen up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I guess communication is it's very, very crucial. You just really have to communicate your thoughts better as well. Okay, hello. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ryan from Ateneo, and I just want to ask, what were the pros of being in the trucking industry, which made you more passionate about it and not common trending businesses? And why do you think this made you successful today?
So being in the truck reselling business, there's nothing glamorous about it. The pros about it is that we don't have much competition our age. So we were the first one to launch a mobile app wherein you can browse our trucks online. You can actually buy spare parts online. So we went into a field wherein it was very aged, it was very old. So we tried to re-energize it, and it was easier for us because we have less barriers of entry. We have virtually no competition our age, and usually third generations of businessmen who are our competitors didn't have any interest in that business. So I think it was a pro for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have questions on that side. Hi, go ahead.
Good afternoon, I am Barry Bayaw. My question is, was there a specific incident that you have a business decision that contradicts that of your parents, and how did you deal with it?
So a specific incident wherein I had a conflict with my parents.
Business.
Yes, we have one every month. We have a monthly board meeting, and we always get into conflicts and hindi naman away, arguments. But again, these arguments are very healthy because if you don't have any arguments, ibig sabihin nun, the other party isn't concerned anymore with what you have to say. So these arguments, we take it as a fact that we build each other up. So a lot of decisions, because I'm the head of marketing, I want to spend. I really want to do TV ads. My parents, who are very conservative, would want to save. So every month, we really have that push and pull relationship, which is really what drives the business forward and up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question, please.
Hello, my name is Franz Aguilar from USD. Before my question, I would like to add that I know where to buy my trucks now.
Thank you.
So for the question, was it difficult for you to diverse the family business from food to trucking, and what made you strive for the change?
It wasn't difficult for me because I started first. Since I was the youngest, I was very blessed to have a lot of siblings in the family corporation already. So my dad allowed me to do my own thing for the first few years of my professional life. So there was no significant maybe obligations that I had to go into the family business agad. And there was no conflicts in between as well. So it was really easy for me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have quite a line. Okay, next question, please. Okay, hello.
Hello, I'm Yana from Ateneo. So I was just wondering, you mentioned that you started your business in your early 20s. So, like, for a company that's in that industry, you need a lot of capital. Because if you think about it, like, one truck really costs a lot already. So I was just wondering how you were able to generate your resources to start that business.
That's a very good question, and you are correct. Ever since we started, I actually started as an initial investor to my partner. We started with 2 cars in his front yard. So eventually, when I was working in SM, I used my capital that I earned from all my side businesses and invested it in him and in the cars. So eventually, we grew that from 2 to 4 to 8 to 12 to 16. Then eventually, in 2011, we started our own dealership, which had a maximum capacity of 52 cars. But at that time, we only had, I think, 14 or 15. So in the opening, I remember borrowing all my aunts and aunties and my parents' and my sisters and brothers' cars just to fill in the dealership. So that's where we also learned that we had to leverage of other people's money. So we really took their money and invested it in our business and gave them significant returns. So until now, we still do that. We have a lot of investors, including my mom, my parents, my partner's parents, and also a lot of different investors coming in. Because we give them good, sizable returns for their investment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so go ahead, collect more questions. Okay, as you do so, my question for you is, you keep emphasizing, and after all, this is the Taipan Youth Summit. So how important is it exactly to keep on injecting youthfulness with whatever industry you're in and whatever age you're at? And you know what, I met his father, very youthful parent si Uncle, diba? So I guess you also got that influence from him. So on your end, how important is it?
So every year we go on, there's a lot more and more babies coming out, right? So forever there will be more and more youth in the business and in the industry. So I think our target will always have to be youthfulness, and we always have to inject that because that will become our target in the next 5 years, our consumers in the next 5 to 10 years. So the earlier you can do that, depending if it fits your brand, the earlier you can do that, the more leeway you have versus your competitors. So always strive to get their attention.
Yes. Just always keep it fresh. Also, at least nagpapabagat sa ating lahat, diba? I love it. That's why, parang fresh grad lang, diba? Okay. Okay, so now you did mention more about the digital landscape and how important it is. So maybe you can tell us more about some of these decisions that really were able to help you improve everything you're with.
So there were a lot of low-hanging fruits that we took as initiatives under my wing. One was, of course, really investing in online marketing. That was part of the digitalization. We've been in Facebook and YouTube and Google for over 5 years, direct contact with them. They taught us hand in hand how to do our marketing initiatives. Other digital things that we did, I digitalized our selling systems. So I automated it. So each salesman in each sari-sari store should, I'm saying should because I think one of the children of my distributors are here. So they should be using our handheld systems for their automation to make it easier for us to collect data.
Nice, awesome. Okay, so now it's all about choosing your path. On a personal note, did you also have that like crossroad moment? You did mention that at first you didn't like it, but before all that, before even delving into business, did you already know that you were meant to become a businessman? How was that path of choosing the right field or industry for you?
I think even at a young age, wherein I think 6 years old ako nun eh. There was a class picture, and I was the only one wearing a suit. So I don't know why, maybe a loser because of it. But I think ever since I was a kid, I really wanted to be a businessman.
Sometimes you just have it in you, or you're already inclined to it. Okay, any more questions? Go ahead. We are still opening the floor to some more. Anything more to plug?
No, that's it.
You know, I guess
Thank you for
you're doing such a great job. You know how every year this fashion. I just want to share like this fashion magazine, Mega, right? Mega.
It's not ours, huh?
I know, Mega the magazine, and then they have their campaigns like every June, kasi yung Independence Day, and then people have their own profile pictures with the Mega logo. Yung iba na hindi nakasama doon, meron akong friend on Facebook, dahil daw hindi siya nakasama sa Mega magazine na may font and everything. Ang ginamit niya yung font ninyo, Mega Sardines.
So there was a certain virality of that, and we capitalized on that.
Yeah,
I saw that personally, and I told my people, you have to be instant. Oh, this is trending. Oh, let's do something. So we did our own thing.
Galing. So I was like, wow, that's so witty. It's good. You're able to be relatable as well, and at the same time, that's bonus points for you in terms of marketing. It's already, a cultural phenomenon. Everyone knows about Mega now. Okay. A few more questions before we proceed.
I just wanted to know how you were able to since you specialize in branding and digital marketing, how were you able to get in touch with Facebook and Google and I don't know they just seem like a company that's very far away. Or maybe was it just some certification that you did on their website?
So you can call me. I can give you their number. Back then in 2014, when we started with them, they barely had any business here in the Philippines, so they were looking directly for clients. So it just so happened that I was also well versed in online marketing, not particularly in Facebook or Google, but in OLX, in iOS Dito, in Google Search, SEM. So that's where I got in touch with them and it all through that connection. Now, medyo mahirap na kasi there's a lot of agencies that you have to talk to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Patricia from Hope Christian High School, and my question for you is, do you think that children who had the opportunity to choose their own path will be more successful, or do you think that your family's choice or opinion is more important?
That's a very hard question to answer. Because I did both. I chose my own path. At the same time, I did what my family wanted me to do. And it was only by God's grace that He allowed those to intertwine. Because minsan, totally opposite siya eh. In my experience, halos parehas lang yung gusto ko sa gusto ng family ko. So I think it's all about preparation so that when that opportunity comes where they call it luck, you are there. So I think you have to prepare yourself for all things, whether you want to do it or not to do it.
Thank you. Always keep an open mind, right? Okay, and last question for now.
Hi, I'm Jello Wong from CCF Tech Academy. As you mentioned, you had partners in AutoKit. So I wanted to ask, what are the factors you consider for choosing good partners? And are there any specific characteristics you try to spot?
When I chose my partners, it was again God's intervention. I was in a retreat, so basically, if you're in a retreat, you expect everyone to be within moral standards. So I took that as a good call, a good meaning, and wherein you have to get a partner wherein you're friends first. You can't be partners then become friends afterwards, because even before, I remember what he told me, my first partner Kevin. Even before we started, he told me, Marvin, remember, we were friends first. So every time we would get into arguments, I would always go back to that we were friends first before we were business partners. And we would not let any business or any amount of money ruin that friendship. So now we're still friends, but we're more business partners than friends. But again, we go back to that friendship and that bond that we had before that really guides us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and that wraps up our quick Q&A. Thank you so much, Marvin. We'll take a quick photo op here together with your tokens of appreciation. So, makakatanggap ka rin ba ng mega? Hindi na. Okay, I love it. So we have our Chinoy TV CEO, Sir Alvin Kingston. We have Elise as well, our project head. Thank you so much. Guys, we are down to just a few more. One last keynote speaker and one last panel for everybody. And then the raffle draw, where we will be giving away awesome gadgets for everybody. Okay, smile. Thank you very much. Thank you. So much for that, mega. Para sa akin na daw. Okay. And last but not least, we are down to our fourth keynote speaker. He's a computer science graduate from the De La Salle University, and he has 16 years worth of experience with Procter & Gamble, where he held regional roles in the U.S. and in Singapore for the areas of business analytics, corporate governance, and project management. Please welcome the president of Anvil Business Club and managing director of Nielsen Philippines, Mr. Patrick Hua.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to first thank Alvin of Chinoy TV and, of course, Josh of Affix for inviting me today. Today, I'm representing Anvil Business Club, but I'll insert a few things about my day job. So, a little bit about myself. Janina had mentioned. I was born in Davao to a first-generation father. His business was in lumber, and as you know, with the log ban, the lumber business had to close down. So being the youngest of 8, I had no choice but to, after college, strike it out in the corporate world. So armed with my degree, I ended up with P&G, the #1 consumer goods company in the world. I'd like to brand that. But my degree was in computer science. I did from De La Salle. So I did pass in UP and in Ateneo, both business type of degrees, but I ended up in De La Salle, which serendipitously later on, now where data is the new oil, would help me with my stint in Nielsen. So with P&G, it was a great time. I had spent, out of 16 years, I had spent 7 years internationally, and that really helped me develop myself. Before I got married, I was in the US living alone, and ultimately decided to join Nielsen. So while at P&G, I was in the IT department. I didn't do anything commercially, I didn't do anything with business. But our chief information officer at the time believed that you had to sell solutions, you had to help sell more cases using IT and technology. So I wouldn't say I'm a programmer, but I'm a technologist. I help clients solve their problems. And with Nielsen, I'm in a commercial role, right? So I'm the Chief Business Development Officer. Marvin here is my client, or was a client. So every day, most of the time, I sell, right? I take care of the profit and loss for the #1 research agency in the world and also #1 in the Philippines. So we measure TV ratings and we also measure market share. Okay? So I'd like to share, first of all, I believe both being an entrepreneur and an employee, I don't really see much of a difference. Some of our speakers think they do, but I don't see a difference. It's all intertwined. So I'd like to share 5 principles which I follow that are guiding me on a day-to-day as I continue to improve. So the first thing I tell people is life is a journey of self-awareness. Now you may not think of it, but this is very important. When I interview an applicant fresh from college, I see if they have self-awareness. Right? Some people, when I joined Nielsen, I had to let go very senior people, tough conversations, because they didn't have self-awareness. And people who don't have self-awareness are not open to feedback, they won't be able to improve. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about this. So, several cultures and civilizations talk about self-awareness. So this is a Greek philosopher. Most difficult thing in life is to know yourself. Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. He who knows others is wise, he who knows himself is enlightened. And then another one, American, if you do not conquer yourself, you will be conquered by yourself. So I have this chart, and again, I show this to everyone that joins Nielsen. So your ability and your time. Over time, you will improve, you will have certain performance. That's the black line. But how you think of yourself, that would be the red line. Either you think too much of yourself or you think too less of yourself. If you think too less of yourself, you lack the confidence. If you think too much of yourself, believe ka sobra sa sarili mo. So one day, over time, if it's left unchecked, what's going to happen is that gap gets so big and your fall back to reality is going to be so big as well. So people really need to be introspective and know themselves. Okay, next slide. And so how do you develop self-awareness? You want to be asking yourself, what are your strengths right now? What do you think are your weaknesses? When a client comes and tells you something bad news, or your employee comes and tells you bad news, how do you react? What's your reaction? Are you even-keeled or you are emotional? Right? So do you seek feedback from your parents, from your co-workers? So Transformers example, right? Optimus Prime or Megatron, right? So in a tough situation in business, challenges come. You fail your exam, your teammate doesn't, your group mate in the project doesn't cooperate. How do you react? Are you still positive or do you generate negative energy? So that's also part of knowing yourself. So knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Right? So I'll move on to introducing my company about what our purpose is with the next video. Please play the video.
What's next is always being put in front of us. You can either run from what's next, or you can become what's next. You can create the next video that will set the internet on fire. You can invent the next product that will change the world. You can redefine your industry, or create a new one. But to pull that off, you gotta understand people. Real people in the real world. So you're gonna need real data.
Data you can use. Data you can trust. Data backed by real science. When you have that kind of data, you'll not only see what's next, you'll get there first. So, the next time the world asks what's next, you have the answer.
So the second principle is finding your why. You may not find your why, you may not, it's a constant journey also of finding why you exist in this world. What's the purpose of your business? I think Marvin gives a good example of why AutoKit exists. You know, Nielsen also believes in our purpose and our mission, right? And I'm very blessed to be in Nielsen because I get to work with a lot of FMCG manufacturers. I get to talk with owners like Marvin, right? And you see the passion. Well, you can see which second generation is not going to make it. I have my opinion, which second generation is going to make it. But the passion that they have, whether it's diapers, whether it's sardines, right? That's very, very contagious. So in whatever you do, you need to find that passion. And when you meet someone with that passion, right, you will know it, you will feel it. So how do you find your passion and how do you find your purpose? So for Nielsen, our purpose is, I could summarize in 4 words. We are a global independent measurement company. So as the president of Nielsen, I take care of the brand because many people rely on the data that we provide. People make bookings on TV shows based on the data we provide. We need to take care of the brand. So big ideas start with an insight. Whether you are going to start a business, you're trying to solve a problem, right? You're trying to solve a problem. So again, let's use AutoKit. Their problem is people hard to find spare parts, right? So it starts with an insight. You talk to people, right? In the past, when I was in high school, I wanted to get an A in one of my subjects. And the teacher says, go and research about Charles Darwin. So I grew up in Davao, very small high school, 3 classrooms only per batch. So the first one who ran into the library was me. I found that book on Charles Darwin and I got an A. Okay? Fast forward today, you Google, in less than 1 millisecond, millions or hundreds of thousands of entries come out for Charles Darwin. Now, the skill set for today as a businessman or an entrepreneur is to find that insight. You have to mine, you have to curate. What then? You have to have the critical thinking to say what is fake news or real insight, right? So that you need that with research, with understanding consumers. Next slide. So also about measurement, right? So Nielsen excels in measurement. We want to be the best in the world in measurement. You can't improve what you don't measure. This is a 1940s. This is W. Deming who said that. So let's practical example. You want to stay fit. You want to get fitter. So you need to measure different things. You could say, is weight an important measure? Is body fat an important measure? Is cholesterol, when you get older, is cholesterol an important measure? Right? So you need to measure in order to progress. So you think about the mission and the purpose. So mission is what you do, and the purpose is why it's important to the world around you. And so for Nielsen, our mission is we want efficiency through measurement. We believe markets that use data to collaborate between supermarkets and manufacturer brands, for example, media agencies, brands, and TV stations or content publishers, they will have a more efficient type of conversation.
Okay? So, we also believe that the price of light is cheaper than the cost of darkness. So that's why I tell a lot of owners, there's a lot of opportunity here. We have a lot of fragmented supermarket owners here. We have a lot of brands that are owned by owners. They don't really use a lot of research. But sometimes they fail, but the success rate is pretty low, right? So with a little research, you should be able to increase that success rate. Okay. The other one, the next principle is about having a winning versus a victim mindset. So related to the growth mindset by Carol Dweck, I always tell my team, you need to have a winning mindset because the difference between losing and winning is very small, which I will show in one of the videos soon. So related to that is the fourth principle. You always want to be improving yourself. So you want to keep getting better, not just better than competition, but to be the best version of yourself. So everyone knows Michael Phelps. Move to the next slide. Seems to be a delay. Okay. Before Michael Phelps, the British cycling team hired a new coach, and the new coach focused on marginal improvement. So let's watch this video. Let's go back there. Let's go back by one slide and play the video. Okay, anyway. Okay, so let's keep, don't play the video. So in this case, overall, you want to get better every day, at least 1%. Because of compounding effects, you will get better. If you don't do anything today, you will degrade, like the line at the bottom. So Michael Phelps example, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so what's the difference between motivation, habits, and systems? Right. So this is something I'm very passionate about lately. So motivation is watching a YouTube TED Talk saying, hey, you gotta change yourself. You know, Tony Robbins or some of these motivational speakers, you want to, what's the reason why you want to be fit? Then habits are actually those that help you to be fit. But in reality, systems actually keep you to a habit. So let me give an example. So I've always struggled with my weight, right? But lately I've been going to the gym. And every month, every week, I go maybe 4 or 5 times now. Because I implemented this particular system. No? I only go to a cross-training gym. In 45 minutes, I'm done. And I only go to a 6:30 class. So it's always a class because I don't want to be thinking what workout I should be doing. I just follow what's on the screen, right? So I'm a big fan of this gym, right? And in the morning I wake up, but before that at night I already pack my bags, my gym clothes are already there, and all I have to do when the alarm clock goes off is I will freshen up, I wear my clothes. Then I ride to the gym, then I do the gym, I don't have to think, right? So that's the system that reinforces the habit. And when I look back, after every workout in the calendar, I encircle the days that I've worked out, and I look at it at the end of every month. Hey, I've been able to go 18, 19 times this month, you know? So, in order for you to improve, you don't just happen to improve overnight. It happens in 1%. The 1% and the habits that you do every day. So that's, can you please move on to the next slide? So Michael Phelps is the winningest swimmer in the world. No introductions needed. Let's move to the next slide with the video. Let's play the video. Beijing Olympics 2008. 100 meters butterfly. He wants to
favorite Guinness Spotlight event, Chris, is the men's 100 fly final as we welcome you back live with the water cube and another one of those rare chances to witness live something to this day that has only happened once in the history of the 112 years of the modern Olympic Games. What has to happen here, especially in the first tournament? He's got to keep it close. course, he needs to be about 24-5. He's 23 and 23 now. He will. He's mixed in the watch. Here it comes. Here is a ball Phelps. Phelps looks like he's passing Crocker. Phelps needs to get back. Cabbage, does he have enough of a tank to get it done? Cabbage is swimming top. Phelps another lane 5. I don't know if he's going to catch him. He gets it done again. He did it. He did it. He did it again. For the second straight Olympics. Phelps at the end gets it done 4 years ago.
Okay, next slide, please. So you see, Michael Phelps came from behind. If you remember who won the medal, no one remembers the silver medalist, maybe the family of the silver medalist. But the difference, he won by 0.01. It takes him, he started swimming when he was 12 years old. Right? In Chinese, there's a saying, you take the lifetime of preparation and only a small moment to perform. Right? And I tell my team, in research, it's either you win the job or you don't, right? So there's sometimes in life, there's no number 2, and it's about the game of interest. Right? I'll show you a more recent example. Next slide, please. There's a delay. So everyone knew first gold medal, Carlos Yulo, well celebrated. Difference between number 2, 0.1, 0.1, right? Yeah, difference between ₱1 million from the Philippine Sports Commission and something less. Okay, let's move on. So the last principle is to give back or pay it forward, and I do it through organizations such as the Anvil Business Club. So I'm honored to be their president for the last 2 years. So the next slide, please. So here's my unofficial guide to success for overseas Chinese. So number 1, you want to start a family, have an offspring, build a business, or run a business. Visit your ancestral house. You want to show your ancestors back in Xiamen or wherever your province is that you made it. And lastly, you want to join an org. Perhaps you want to donate your time and your effort to something worthwhile. So the next slide, Anvil Business Club. Think about it. Some of you are members of Celadon, Englicom, CSA, AFEX. So this is the org you should join when you graduate. Right? Next slide. A little bit about Anvil, and then we'll end the presentation.
Year 1991, the Anvil Business Club was founded. It is an association that fosters leadership excellence in young Chinese, Filipino entrepreneurs who are someday expected to be the country's next business leaders. The club has taken slow but measured steps in propagating positive values and professional eminence through modest activities. Grounded by time-honored Confucian ideals, its past administrations have consciously maintained a small yet influential group of eminent business leaders.
Being one of the earlier members, the idea of a club where the young people can be engaged in business and have direct access to famous people and institutions, it has grown beyond that. People are having this access. They are able to influence events, have meaningful activities, charities, and also learn a lot and network and expand their businesses.
We knew that it was not easy to be in the third movement. We wanted an organization that we can impart the Confucian values of hard work, trade, industry among our members.
For me, Anvil has become an important part of my business life. I'm able to gain new friends. I'm able to find business opportunities, and I'm able to get inspiration from some of our guests in our key events. With Anvil, you have an opportunity to meet the next generation Filipino-Chinese business leaders and business owners.
Anvil provide a platform for new generation of Filipino-Chinese entrepreneurs to gain connection, to mentoring and sharing of experiences.
Anvil Business Club actually gives you this unique network of individuals that can help you in your respective businesses?
I believe Anvil Business Clubs various social initiatives because they provide us opportunities to work together and also to do meaningful projects. We also wanted to honor teachers in the Philippines, honoring and respecting and giving valuable support to all our noble teachers. That is our Chinese community's humble contribution to Philippine society's.
One of our main standing activities is the Anvil Exchange Forum, where we invite famous business personalities and government officials. We invite professionals to understand what are some of the techniques and developments in the industry and in the business world.
Actually, in the forums of Anvil, talagang pinag-iisipan nila yan. The regions, the board, really take their time to look for good speakers, to talk about topics that will eventually help its members.
We always learn something new whenever we attend the forums.
It's the osmosis of ideas among and between Anvil members. It's testing your ideas against people who are better than you, who have different fields of experience. And in doing so, you're able to grow as a person, grow as a businessman.
Anvil is a place where you can learn and be able to connect to people in various industries.
I think what makes it great are the members, the people. Everyone is not selfish, they're willing to help you, they're willing to share.
There are over 500 members from past to present. Just imagine the knowledge you will gain from those people.
For me, Anvil Business Club is like a family. You have an Aya, you have an Atsi, you have a Shoti, and Shobe. That's why I encourage young Filipino like us to join Anvil Business Club.
Come and join Anvil Business Club.
I would encourage you to join Anvil because it presents a great opportunity, a venue to meet like-minded individuals. And we also not only promote business relationships, but we also promote the Chinese culture.
The club is not just about doing business and team-building activities. It is also about giving back and encouraging civic consciousness. On January 22, 2014, in the wake of the massive destruction wrought by Typhoon Yolanda in Leyte province, they flew to Tacloban to ask, what can we do? 7 months later, they went back with an answer and a gift, a newly constructed classroom for the school community of Salvacion Elementary School. This spirit of giving back has repeatedly been manifested through medical missions and relief operations that sought to bring smiles to our less fortunate brethren.
We've had a number of donations to the constituents of different parts of the zone.
To donate, to help through charity basis.
You go there, you meet with the people, and you empathize with them. Masaya siya. Magaan sa puso.
It's always positive, right? So to make a positive impact, not only to help our members, but also our fellow Filipinos.
We leave behind an even more vibrant organization, rightly christened the country's most prestigious and sought-after business club for young Chinese Filipino entrepreneurs today. Mabuhay ang Anvil Business Club.
So hopefully you'll consider Anvil after you graduate last night. So just to summarize, as I mentioned, I think you have to be consistent whether you're working in an organization or you're running your own business. And these are the 5 principles I follow. So with that, again, I end my presentation.
Thank you so much, Sir Patrick. Let's have you over here. Oh, actually, before that, we'll take a quick photo op with your token because we are moving forward to the panel discussion right after this. So, Mr. Alvin Kisantan and Eunice, please hand our tokens of appreciation for Sir Patrick. And we will be joined by another speaker for our panel discussion as we wrap up today. I hope you guys learned a lot for sure. And yes, do join Anvil, right? Where you'll meet the likes of Sir Patrick over here. Beautiful list of members. Okay. And the tokens are on the way. Okay, let's take a photo first. And we will be joined by another speaker. We have Mr. Walter Wong, the head of marketing for Untitled, the largest app-based motorcycle ride-hailing platform in the Philippines. And he has also worked with a hardware startup, Awesome Lab Incorporated, and co-founded a platform for online shops called Action Stack. So hello, go ahead, be seated. We've got microphones for you guys. And you can also go ahead and collect your thoughts and questions for both of them, especially for Sir Patrick after that talk. So we will be opening the floor for some questions. First of all, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We're down to our last. And yes, wow, that was really something hearing your expertise. But we also have Sir Walter right here joining us from Team Angkas. And you were actually part of you were able to join the team during its founding year, am I right? 2016, am I right? Okay, wow. So congratulations to the both of you. So first up, maybe now that we've listened from Sir Patrick, maybe you can share to us a little bit more about Angkas for those who, I'm sure it's familiar to everybody, but go ahead, please do explain it and tell us more about what you do and what you're all about.
Yeah, Angkas in a nutshell is a motorcycle ride-hailing app platform. So it's like Grab but motorcycles. And we currently have about 30,000 drivers in our platform, and I guess a few million downloads. I feel like in the past couple of months we've become a lot more visible to the general public. I feel like most people here have now seen enough pass by while they were stuck in traffic. Essentially what we do is we want to help enable mobility to Filipinos. For our passengers, it's being able to give them an additional option to beat the traffic and help people take control of their time back. So as many of you know, traffic is now the defining problem of our generation. It's becoming worse and worse. It's now gotten to a crisis. A few weeks ago, Sal Canelo took that commuting challenge, and I think toward the tail end of his trip, he actually had to take a motorcycle to get to Malacanang, and it kind of shows you how important motorcycles are as a fabric of our transport system. It's not to say that motorcycles are the solution to everything, but it helps give people an option. So what we like to say in the past that we're trying to do is help give people back their time. So when you think about things like the meetings you take, the business opportunities that you take, the kind of jobs that you even interview for, right? If it's 3 hours away, you might not even consider. Or even things like relationships. If you live in QC or Fairview and you're thinking about dating someone in Alabama, maybe forget about it, right? So what we're trying to do is, if you're stuck in traffic and that prevents you from engaging, that would otherwise help you grow, help you be better, and just help you live a richer life, we're giving you back that time. And that's what we're trying to do at Angkas.
Thank you very much. You are a modern superhero as well. I'm sure we all value our time, and I think there was a study that we lose how many years of our lifetime being stuck in traffic, and it's quite terrifying. So at least we've got more solutions for that. So today is all about Taipan Youth Summit. Our theme is also choosing your path. You're still pretty young yourself. Did you see yourself being in this field when you were back in college, probably, just like they are? And also for you, Sir Patrick, back in college, were you always like business-minded, or were you also heavily influenced by your parents? Go ahead.
I think if there's like one thing you should take away as career advice is that your plan never really pans out as it does. I never really saw myself in startups, at least in college. I didn't really know what I was doing. So just a little bit of background. Right after I graduated, I took a med.
Here in Ateneo, management.
Yes. I graduated in ME, and then I didn't know what to do. So I ended up teaching in Ateneo in the summer, and then I still didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of worked with a bunch of different people on the side. And long story short, I've been in I think 6 companies. I've been in a startup. I've been in fintech. Worked with hardware, electronic startups. And so now I'm in transportation. Generally, the unifying theme is technology, but generally I like solving problems, and I like working with interesting people, and that's how I end up finding where I am. For many of you, you might end up going corporate, some might start a business, but I don't think you should lock yourself into one path. And especially if there are lots of different things to explore, and just because you were in one particular path in college does not mean that later on in life, that's what you have to do.
Exactly, why not, right? It's we don't have to stick to only one, right? We can be multi-talented, multifaceted. How about you, sir?
So, as I mentioned, going to the family business wasn't a choice, given the situation of the log band and my father being in the lumber business. And going to, the funny thing was I originally wanted a management engineering BAA in UP, but ended up in computer science in LaSalle, which I think is, well, the reason there is it just took 2 rides from where I live. But in reality, it did prepare me for my role now, 20 years later, leading the largest information services company. But in a sales and in a commercial role, in a general management role, versus starting out in a very back office IT type of role in P&G. So always think throughout the different roles that you take within your first job or your first business, you're going to learn something. That's going to be a part of you. A challenge that will make you choose a different path will eventually turn out to be for a good reason. So I didn't really imagine myself to lead an organization and be in charge of sales targets and all of that when I started out in my first job.
All right, okay, so now we are opening the floor to some questions. Go ahead and you can just move forward to the microphones on both sides of the room. Okay, I think, do we have one already? Okay, hello, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Joshua Ibogo. So I think a lot of people here, they're either studying business or they're involved in business already. But I think several people in the Filipino-Chinese community, they're also encouraged to go into more specialized professions like law, medicine, engineering, etc. I don't know, I'd like to hear your opinion. Do you think you should go into entrepreneurship and community development, and how or what way can they get involved in things like that?
Do you want to clarify the question?
We'll both try to answer that question. So, whether to go to entrepreneurship or community development. So, is that?
Well, I think if there are people who are already practicing, in things which take a lot of their time, like medicine or law or things, and how do you think they can get into like business or entrepreneurship?
Okay. So, for me, I do have businesses as well, but I don't really widely talk about it. So I'm a professional, but the way I bring out my entrepreneurship is with my wife. Right? Earlier, a speaker said, choose the right partner. My wife, I think the best choice I made was to marry. She's not here today. She's trying to close the deal. But you want to do, so someone said, if, like for me, I'm working during the day. But I think about the business 24/7. But there are also downtimes. So during the downtimes, what do I do? Am I developing my next thing? Right? So am I developing the next app that I'm working with my wife? Am I helping my wife open new connections with her education business or her beauty business? So it's about allotting time, right? So, and also another thing is finding what you're passionate about. It's a continuous journey. For me, I'm passionate about solving problems. I'm passionate about helping others. Nielsen, Anvil, these things already give me a lot of opportunities to do that. So businesses don't come up in one day. You look at the journey of Marvin here and AutoKit. They started in 2011. It didn't take them 1 year to get big. You have to start somewhere. So advice is, if you're passionate about something, you have an idea, start trying to do it. Spend an hour or two a day about it. And then the next thing you'll know, after a year or two, it's going to develop somewhere, or you're going to change your trajectory. So you have to want to do it, and then you have to focus and spend some time on it. Otherwise, everyone has ideas. I have a lot of ideas, but the ones that you can execute, that's the one that becomes a business.
So just to add to that, so I think everything that's worth doing is hard, right? So if you think about going to law school or med school, you're gonna have to have 4 more years at least of lots of studying, and if you choose to become a doctor, it's crazy hours. My girlfriend is a doctor. She's currently a resident surgeon. She has 36-hour shifts, and she gets paid something like $18,000 a month. And that's after having studied for 8 years and already worked an internship. And it's gonna take her 4 more years to finally make something that's a little over or more than minimum wage. So there's no such thing, I think, as a profession where you're guaranteed stable income or guaranteed to be happy. So if everything's gonna be hard anyway, and everything's gonna be a struggle, and nothing's gonna come easily, you might as well pick something that you can bear being miserable day in, day out, right? Don't think about everyone who's successful as your benchmark, because they got there because they were willing to put in the hours. So think about it's it's just 4 years of law, it's just 4 years of being a doctor or something like that. And after that, I'll be sure to be successful, right? I don't think that's a stable career path either. So if you feel that you'll be happier, or that you can bear the brunt of going into entrepreneurship day in, day out, then that might be a better path for you than trying something that's quote-unquote stable, rather than like being a doctor, an accountant, or a lawyer. That's not to say that entrepreneurship is easy, right? Everyone here has stories about how hard it was to build a business, and what you're not seeing is everyone here who years ago started a business and then lost all their money, right? You're talking to basically the people who became successful. And just because they worked hard doesn't mean that all the people who also worked hard years ago to start a business, all the people who failed at becoming successful at this point in time weren't working hard. There are so many stories of people who did start a business, put all their money and savings into it, and then basically lost everything, and now are living really shitty lives. So just because you're now seeing the people who happen to be successful does not mean that whatever they did, if you do that, you're also going to be successful. So there's no such thing as an easy path. That's the sucky part of life. So pick what you're willing to do day in, day out. Even if it's hard, you're willing to put in the hours, you're willing to do the work, and that's probably the best option you can make for a career.
Thank you very much. Yes, the discipline
Fantastic
is
advice. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move forward to that side of the room. Can we please direct our questions to either or, because we actually have 5 more minutes in total.
Hi, good afternoon. opportunities to serve others. Speaking of passion a while ago, I just want to ask, what can you advise to those, especially for millennials who were so confused about passion, how would they pursue their passion, because they don't know what their passion really is. So.
You start doing, right? So start doing something, and then you'll know. It sounds simple. But even in what I'm doing now, there are things I don't like to do. There are surprises that I need to be accountable for. Some subordinate did something, and it all goes up to here to me, command responsibility. Those are tough conversations. I didn't cause that problem, but I have to face the clients and explain to them what the problem was. But then you have to take the bigger picture and take a longer view. So the one thing I work with a lot of millennials, a lot of them after 1 or 2 years, they want to shift. They want to change their jobs. By the way, Matt beside you works for Nielsen. Hopefully he's still under 2 years. So my advice is take the long view. If you keep on jumping, there's some benefit to that. But take a longer view. Don't just do a knee-jerk reaction and constantly, because you didn't get that promotion, it's not because and you want the promotion really soon. There might be a reason, right? So you have to be self-aware, going back to what I'm saying. So the most important thing is, if you don't really know what you want, you have to start doing something, and doing this energizes you. Then you'll know yourself better. Then you'll find what you like, what you don't like. Then you adjust.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so over on to that corner. Hello, please.
Hello, I'm Nina Maricanabo from Philippine Shanghai High School. So, Mr. Wong, I was wondering, how do you ensure the safety of your riders and passengers, since riding on a motorcycle is more dangerous than traveling in a car?
So there's a couple ways, but we start with the driver. I think about 98% of accidents, vehicular accidents, are due to driver or human error. So for a lot of people, they don't know this, but like we have a 30% passing rate for our applicants. So we have very strict rules. So starting from your background checks, okay, clearance, police clearance, and then all our drivers have to undergo a special skills test. So there's like an obstacle course that you have to ride with a passenger, and if you do as something as basic as putting your foot down while navigating the course, then you fail. So all the drivers are very skilled drivers, and then everyone has to undergo safety training. There's like a 3-hour program course that's been designed by some of the leading instructors in the country. On top of that, we have high quality helmets. We inspect all the motorcycles, make sure that they're of top quality, and then we ensure that you have accountability via the app platform. So we track all the bikers where they are based on their location. So if you see anything fishy, then you can we'll flag that, and then anyone can of course report any issues with the drivers or the app. We have a 24/7. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Over there, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Aaron Wong from Philippine Cultural College. For Mr. Patrick, my question is, what's the biggest challenge that you've encountered in your life as a business entrepreneur?
The biggest challenge is always, there hasn't been one significant event, but the biggest challenge is always looking for the right people in the team. We in Nielsen, we are a professional services firm, so we rely on our people to deliver our service. So we need to find the right, we need to train the people, and we need to find the right people who can be part of my immediate team. Right? So the right HR person, the right finance person, the right business development person that will work with you. So sometimes it's hard to find the right, especially now where unemployment is a bit low, it's hard to find the right talent. So constantly looking for the right talent is something is a challenge.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I know that we still have a couple of questions, but we actually have to wrap up the program, although our two speakers will still be here to answer your questions. Maybe afterwards, you can go ahead and just proceed to them. Thank you so much. Please reserve your questions till after the program. Thank you. Let's give them both a big hand. And now we have our quick photo op with our tokens, courtesy of the Chinoy TV team, as well as the Taipan Youth Summit team. We've got Mr. Alvin Kingsatan and Eunice Chu handing over your tokens. Thank you so much. Okay, so we also have a special treat once again for everybody. We are about to announce our raffle winners in just a bit. But we also have a special segment courtesy of one of our sponsors coming right up. Okay, quick photo. Thank you very much. Once again, a big hand for both of our speakers, Sir Patrick and Sir Walter over here. And now we will be listening to another quick presentation courtesy from our friends and co-presenter. We have Huawei Technologies. Now here is Mr. Francis Rosario, the Deputy Human Resource Director of Huawei Philippines. Go ahead, sir. Take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, on behalf of Huawei Philippines, I'm very pleased to be right in front of you. So this afternoon, actually, we're very happy and glad that to announce formally that Huawei Philippines has been ramping up in terms of how we provide jobs to Filipino people. And currently, we encourage Filipino Chinese students or graduates to really consider working in the technology industry. So right now, as you know, Huawei is really big, a giant technology company, not only in the Philippines, but globally. And our key customers right now in the Philippines, formally to say, is Globe, PLDT Smart, and now the third telco is in the horizon, is the Dito community. So just imagine the opportunities the job opportunities that Huawei Philippines is now offering. So currently, we have really partnered with AFIC, so I'm very thankful for this organization to have included us. And also with Ateneo, LaSalle, UST, Mapua, and UP. So some of these schools have really partnered with Huawei because they have really considered Huawei as a company of the future. And right now, we have a variety of positions that we are offering. So I think this is one opportunity that each and every one of you can consider working in the corporate world. And as you know, Huawei is now here to stay formally in the Philippines, probably in the past. You don't know Huawei. As you know Huawei, you know that Huawei is only a business for mobile phones. But Huawei is more than just a mobile phone. Huawei has a variety of businesses, and part of that is carrier business. So we are a company that provides wireless and fixed network. So the internet services that we have right now for Globe, PLDT, is being run by Huawei equipment. So sooner or later, 5G will now be in the horizon, and I hope that the Filipino students, Filipino Chinese students and graduates will really consider embracing the ICT industry. As you know, the industry is quite not that big, but it's really a close-knit industry. So for ICT, we have Globe, PLDT Smart, Converge, Huawei, and other technology industries who's really trying to improve the services. As I've been telling the people that I have been meeting in the academe and also in the government, the work that we do in the office has a social responsibility aspect onto it. Primarily because we are improving the communication aspect here in the Philippines, the infrastructure. So as you know, we have been complaining about very poor and slow network, very slow internet. I think everybody would agree into that. And that's the reason why we are rallying the students, especially the Filipino-Chinese students, to really consider helping Huawei, helping Globe building, and helping the Philippines to really improve the communication part or aspect onto it. So this afternoon, I have brought my team outside. Most of them are our HR team, so that if you have any questions regarding opportunities to work in our company, they'll be happy to answer all of them. Also, I am formally announcing that Huawei has a year-long acceptance of an internship program, so that at a very young age, you can really appreciate and consider and probably embrace technology as the future, for everybody. So one of my rallying points is that to have an OJT program in Huawei is not just an ordinary OJT program, I will tell you. Because to work in ICT or in technology industry, it's really difficult. It's not easy. Alright? So when you apply for an internship, it's as if you're applying for a job. But most likely this is going to be something lucrative, something very special to the students, primarily because one, they get a very good training. Second, we provide a very competitive internship allowance of a minimum of 27,000 for a very good interns that will consider doing their OJTs and hopefully after to work with Huawei Philippines. So as you know, we have a very keen eye for very good candidates. So when you do internship in Huawei Philippines, before you finish your intern, before you graduate, we will provide a job offer for you. So meaning to say, while you're studying, while we're waiting for your graduation, there is already a job waiting for you in Huawei Philippines. And also one of my rallying points is that if you think your competency, if you think you're capable enough to really compete in the global stage, Huawei is the best place to go to. Alright? So, also on my part, it has been my dream to really work in the tech industry. So, I know for sure that some of you would really dream or aspire working in Google, Microsoft, Facebook. They are here in the Philippines, but most of these positions are sales positions. But if you really aspire to become a technology person, someone who will be involved in programming, in innovation, something that you could really compete with your peers, with other schools in terms of how you would present yourself, then Huawei is here to present this opportunity to everyone. And of course, being a co-presenter here, I'll be glad and happy to say that Huawei will be providing some raffle items, okay? I hope that you would enjoy. And just to give you at least a preview of what my raffle item is, so it will be the P30 Pro Sunrise Edition. Alright? So that's the top of the line. So good luck to the winners later on. So we'll now go through the raffle.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Francis. Yes, we are ready with the raffle. I hope you were able to put in your stuff units. Proceed to the center so everyone can get a better picture. Okay, wow, look at that. The behind it on this. Okay, so maybe we can cross the ball even more. Make sure that we have little transfer. So we have the items on standby. There, right? So let's first start with okay, so we have Huawei smart watches first. Okay, so we're giving away 5 Huawei items, 2 smart watches, and then 3 phones. So we'll start off with the watches. Okay, first, congrats to
Congratulations to Mr. Adric Tan. Here. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, so we got a smartwatch for you. Yay. Where's the prize? On the way out? Congrats, congrats.
benefit.
Congratulations. Please make your way up the stage. Taking part in your class with all the music also. Photo together for the watching. Okay, so let's choose the first phone, which is
Huawei P30 Lite.
the Huawei P30 Lite.
Congratulations to Iko Ocampo.
Iko, I-C-O, Ocampo. Hi, Iko, and two more photos for grabs. This time it's not.
Right, I'm going to raffle off the new handset, the Huawei Nova 5e. Congratulations to Mika Alvarez.
And first we've got the grand prize. Well, all of them are grand. Last but not the least, we are giving away.
Okay, the grand prize is the Huawei P30 Pro Amber Sunrise Edition. Congratulations to Mireya Kyra Wong.
Maria Wong, you are our last winner. No, that's alright. That's alright. Not you, not Maria. Sorry, she was just going to the toilet. No! Are we sure? Maria Kyra Wong. Going once. Going twice. Okay, next na. Wala mo siya talaga? Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sayang. Okay, we have one. Okay. Sorry, Maria.
Alright, it's a guy. Congratulations to Mr. Timothy Ryan Tan.
He left kasi. Okay, sige. So, next na naman.
Okay, congratulations to Angel Morales.
She left also. She Angel. Les Morales. She Angel Morales.
Alright, congratulations to Dia Teng.
You
I'd like to thank everyone for gracing today's event, especially to the Taipans who made their way to share valuable insights and valuable learnings to mold the students of today to become the future Taipans of tomorrow. We created Taipan 4 years ago as part of our advocacy to share modern Filipino-Chinese culture, which is entrepreneurship, but with a social purpose and social significance. We wanted to create modern-day entrepreneurs who are able to create more value along the value chain, maybe upstream or downstream, so that you can create more shared value through this avenue, through this opportunity, through this rare opportunity of listening and learning from the Taipans, so that we can have wherein everyone can come together, learn together, and build together for a better community, a greater Philippine society. My Taipan experience 4 years ago was great. I listened to 5 Taipans during that day, and I learned the best practices, the best strategies, which helped me after college. So after college, we were able to implement these new initiatives, new plans for our family business, which is into plastic piping. So, but added to that, we were able to find a social purpose as part of our advocacy. So we were able to see the demand. So imagine, how can plastic pipes for water have a significance, have a social significance? So we were able to see a demand to have access to clean and potable drinking water. So we were able to introduce our pioneering and innovative Vesco antimicrobial pipes, the first and only in the country, thanks to the Taipan Summit. So lastly, I'd like to congratulate the Taipan team, headed by Mr. Alvin Tan of Chinoy TV, who has spearheaded the Taipan Summit for 4 years and running. So let's give him a round of applause. And I'd like also to thank and congratulate Mr. Josh Etty of AFIX for making today's event the most successful one today. So I'd like to congratulate both of them, and also to everyone who made it here. And I hope everyone was able to take advantage of this rare opportunity of learning from the best, from the country's best and brightest. So thank you again, everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful time. God bless.
Thank you so much, Alfred. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we move forward to our raffle portion, the rest of it. Again, we're giving away more gadgets, but first up, we are announcing our social media contest winner. And I hope you guys are able to post. Okay, we've got our, I think this is from Instagram. Okay, so you are coming home with a free stay at City Hotel Boracay, superior room with a breakfast package for 2. Sir Alvin, please help us award. Congratulations to your username is Kiwi Christelle C. Okay, Christelle, come on over. Ako, sinong dadalhin mo sa Boracay? It's a birthday yata. Oh, sino ba BFF ni Christelle? Okay, so this is her post. Wow, ang ganda. Parang naka-archive yata yung ano na yan, photos niya. Magamit nga ito pag may contest. Okay, so congratulations, Miss Christelle. Hello. Okay, let's have a photo here. And both of you. Okay, now we're about to give away. Thank you so much. Enjoy your stay in Boracay. Okay, thank you. Now we're giving away our iPad from Apple. Now this is courtesy of Power Mac. Okay, thank you so much to our friends from Power Mac. We have Miss Pauline Gan to help us award. Hello. Okay, so we've got our fishbowl over here. Okay, please choose our winner. Okay, so we've got one iPad. Or unahin mo natin yung mga headphones na gusto mo. Last na lang yung iPad, no? Okay guys, last na lang yung iPad. So, unahin natin. Okay, let's start off with the Western Digital Passport Portable USB External Hard Drive. Okay, bakit? Kailangan natin yan. Okay.
Congratulations to Sir Adrian Benedicto.
Okay, where is our winner? Is our winner here? No? What's the name again? Adrian Benedicto? No? Okay, next one up. Okay, let's choose someone else. Okay, let's choose someone else.
Congratulations, Miss Fatima Daisico.
Fatima Daisico? CR, pero sure. Ayan na siya. Portable USB external hard drive. Congrats! Okay, next up is our typical way. Let's take one photo. Okay, we're going to continue on with the power math items in just a bit. But now we have our 1 month unlimited workout at Curbs Gym. We got gift certificate, guys, for us to work out. It's very important. So we have here 15 of these. Okay. But for all of you guys, please claim your prizes backstage. Right now or after? Okay, after the program, you may claim them backstage. So okay, let's do it. 15. Okay, we have Brent Uy. Brent Uy. Is he here? Because you have to, if you're not here, we're gonna have to choose someone else. We have Ashraf Wasif. Ashraf Wasif. We have Byron C. Byron C. Donna May Chua. Donna May Chua. Ariane Costa. Ariane Costa. Cuthbert Cook. Cuthbert Cook. Oscar Dakuba. Congrats. We have Jennifer Ko Brent. Jasper Brent Ko. We have Raya Suniko. Raya Suniko. We got 5 more. We got Jansen Rodriguez. Jansen Rodriguez. Brantley Tan. Brantley Tan. We got Dom Chua. Dom Chua. 3 more. Danica Ong. Danica Ong. And Andrew Del Mundo. Andrew Del Mundo. And last for our Curves GC, we've got Ezekiel Tan. Ezekiel Tan. Okay, so congratulations, you got 1 month unlimited workout at Curves Gym. So you can go ahead and claim your prizes at the program backstage. Look for Pamela. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just making sure. Okay, so now we move forward to Okay, you claim it later. And then, mas natutuwa pa yung friend mo sa'yo. How do you say this? James? Oh my gosh. Parang ganun lang yung 09, different. Paano kaya ba? James, Brian. Who? It's a Brian for sure. That's you. Is this your handwriting? Okay, so you want. Okay, just say your friends afterwards. Now we move forward to the gadgets again. So let's continue on with. We've got our portable chargers, 2 from Anchor Power Cord. Congrats to Ferris Santos. Ferris, are you here? Ferris Santos. Sure? Okay. You can come up on stage to win your prize. And the next is Ren's Sheep. Ren's Sheep, please make yourself, Ren's Sheep. Are you here? Okay, no Ren's, no Ren's. Okay. We have Seth Leongson. Okay, that's you. Yeah. Meron? May dyan ba? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Now, moving forward, okay, let's take a photo first with them. Or let's finish this. You want? Okay, let's finish it. Now we're gonna do the JBL Tune 500 Bluetooth wireless on-ear headphones. Okay. Who needs new headphones? Okay. Congrats to Renee Alarmo. Renee Alarmo. Are you here? Okay, congrats, Renee. And we have one more prize giveaway. I hope everybody's here. If you're not here, we're gonna have to draw another winner. Okay, one more. Thank you so much as well to our sponsors, Beyond Center, Mega World Corporation, Power Max Center, Student Hotel Boracay, Lionel Pure Life Drinking Water, Herb Gym, The Cube Store PH, Taylor Living, Globaltronics, Mega Sardines, Food Source, Pepper Group, and Flop Spray Asian Beauty, Team Executive Decision, Fit and Fine Floral Studios, Doggy's Choice, Jet Korean Barbecue House, and Manila Bulletin. Okay, so in case you don't win this final one, everyone is still coming home with blue bags, okay, full of goodies from our sponsors. So don't forget to claim them as you exit, okay? So now we're down to our final grand prize for today.